All right, time again. Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. The last game of the domestic calendar then, of course, the FA Cup final in a week's time. The last game of the league season. It's a WSL and WSL 2 playoff relegation game. We have got Leicester City, bottom of the WSL, facing Charlton at the Valley today, who finished third in the WSL 2 for a spot in the Women's Super League next season. This is the inaugural game of this new format, Harry, and understandably, there's a lot of buzz about today's fixture.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, these relegation playoffs are quite a unique feel about it, although it's similar to a knockout tie or a final. It feels different because there's a consequence for the loser. You don't just lose out on a trophy, or in this case, you don't lose out on promotion, but you also get knocked into the tier below. So a massive, massive game for both these two sides and for their future plans and their ambitions through the next few years. I think relegation playoffs are an incredibly unique and exciting concept, and I think for the inaugural one, this is set to be an absolute belter.
Exactly, and the playoff final in the men's game is known as the most expensive game in football because you've got that prize money associated with the Premier League. And while we're not looking at figures that are that astronomically high, there is a big difference between the WSL2 and the WSL in terms of revenue and in terms of what you're able to achieve. So for either side today, this is a big opportunity for Leicester to stay in the WSL and for Charlton to get up to the WSL. Let's start with Charlton then. Spent a lot of the season top of the WSL2, but a bit of a slip-off towards the end of the campaign. How does that impact them coming into this game?
It makes things very difficult. I think that everyone associated with Charlton will be very frustrated that they're even in this position. As you say, they should have been high clear and already promoted by this point in the season. So that will be frustrating. And of course, we spoke to Karen Hills a couple of weeks ago, and as she said at that point before the Birmingham game, they weren't even thinking about a playoff. So of course they'll have prepared for this fixture since they knew they were going to be in it. But when it isn't in your mind that this is going to happen, when especially when you lose the title you lose the promotion in the fashion they did, having to watch watching Birmingham celebrate, it's very difficult to come back from that. But they've got another chance. They've got to take it. That's the way they've got to view it. They messed it up the first time, but they've got a massive chance today to get back to what they wanted to do. It's a second opportunity to get promoted. They cannot afford to mess it up today.
It also creates a fascinating dynamic, really, because what you'd expect from this kind of game is that you've got a strong team in the WSL, a stronger side, who are in terrible form because they've been beaten all season and ended up bottom, against a side who have been in really good form and are sat at the top of the WSL too. And whilst Charlton have had a great season, they also come into this game in a bit of poor form. So getting themselves back to the level today to compete with the Leicester side, who I think it's fair to say, at least on paper, are the stronger team, that's going to be a real challenge for Charlton today.
Yeah, exactly that. It's that reset aspect of it. You've got to bounce back. You've got to come back from all the emotions that they would have felt across the last couple of weeks, and especially on the final day, and produce not only against the side of your ability or who should be, as say on paper, a stronger unit. So you've got to not only get back to your level, but you've also got to raise your game to meet the ability of this Leicester side. So it's a very difficult task for Charlton to do. It always was going to be. Whoever was in this playoff was always going to come into it as the underdog because they're in the league below. But I think that when you're the side in the league below, you've got to view these playoff as an opportunity rather than a problem. If Charlton lose today, their consequences, they stay in the same division. And of course, that'll be frustrating, but they'll go again next year. It's different for the top side because your consequences, if you lose today, you end up in the division below, and that's a big it's a big loss. So yeah, Charlton have got to go out without say free hit. They've got to make sure that they can try and find a way past this Leicester side.
Yeah, as for Leicester City then, 0 points scored in 2026. No wins, no draws in any game, in any competition. It's not the kind of form that you need to have to take into this kind of win or die match.
Yeah, there's bad form and there's that. That is not.
It couldn't be worse. It physically couldn't be worse.
I've never seen anything like it. It's been so poor for Leicester City in the back half of this season. The fact that Rick Passmore's still in the job is quite surprising because even if it would have probably been too late for another manager to come in and stop them from finishing bottom of the league, but you felt another manager could have potentially come in and won them this game, whereas they go into today out of form and, will Rick Passmore and his side get the job done? It's $1 million question. I think that it's very difficult to go from not scoring a single point all season to suddenly going into a game where you are technically the favourites. It's a really weird conundrum, and it's a difficult situation for Leicester to deal with. But they've got to up it today. They've got to fight. They've got to bounce back from everything that has happened in this year across this season and put it behind them. Forget about the league season. Just take this at face value as the one-off game for survival that it has become for them. But yeah, form is massive coming into these kind of games, and the fact that Leicester's form is non-existent is a big concern.
Absolutely. Well, let's dive into the lineups then for this game. For Charlton, we're going to have to try and guess this because football are miles away from any sort of lineup that makes sense. We believe it is going to be a 3-5-2 today for the Addicks. In goal, it's Sophie Whitehouse, who's had a fantastic campaign in the WSL2, by far and away the best shot stopper in the division. In the back three, it's Mason, Skills and Lobato, with Karen Moya and Jodie Hutton as the wing-backs. In midfield, then, Bradley playing at the base of midfield three, alongside Lucy Fitzgerald and McAteer. And then a front line of Emma Bissell alongside Gillian Kenny. Now, this is a very attacking-looking Charlton side. We've seen them be quite defensively strong in the WSL2 this season, but that midfield is quite aggressive, it looks, with McAteer in there, with Fitzgerald in there. They've gone for quite a pacey front line with having Kenny in there. They've got Karen Moya playing in that wing-back position, which is going to be quite aggressive. That could also point towards perhaps it being a different shape, but if it isn't, that's going to be a very attacking team.
Yeah, I think on the whole, you've got a set of players there that is quite positive, and thinking forwards, which is a very interesting way to go about it. As you say, I think that we've seen over this season, Charlton have very much adopted a more secure system that just sees them get results over the line, and that's why they were so consistent at the top through the first half of the season, was that no one could get past them. And Whitehouse has had a brilliant season, claimed the Golden Glove as well, and that defensive record showing with that award. But potentially, going a bit more aggressive in this one, potentially sensing that Leicester are there for the taking. I think that Charlton will view this as, if they can get on top of the game early doors, will Leicester respond? We mentioned form, we mentioned mentality coming into this game. Leicester is on the floor, so Charlton can get on top and get an early goal by being a little bit more aggressive. That could be enough to win the game. So it's bold, but at the end of the day, that's what you've got to do in these kind of games. You've got to come up with something different. You've got to change it up a little bit, and I think that going a bit more aggressive could definitely benefit Charlton today.
Yeah, Kevin asked, who are the Charlton players who could thrive in the WSL? Which players would you pick out then you think would be good enough to cut it at the level above?
I think it depends on, I think you've got some very young talents who have emerged across this season that could definitely come in and shine in the league. I think Kenny is one of them, but then you've also got the more experienced players that and players that have been around the league a little bit longer. And I think that Bissell is another one who not only is going to be incredibly important today, but has that WSL experience. I've mentioned Whitehouse in goal has had a phenomenal season, and I think that what Charlton have got is a nice core. I think they've got a core of young talented players and experienced WSL experienced players that have mixed together, and it's created a very, very strong team. But it'll just be it's whether it comes together today, and that will be it is a massive factor. But if they do go up, Charlton, I think they've definitely got a nice base to kind of build a side around.
Yeah, I think they've got a manager in Karen Hills who knows what it takes to survive in the WSL. And I think they've got some players in there, as you say, that have got the ability. One I pick out is Jodie Hutton. I think absolutely should be playing WSL football next season. So if Charlton don't go up, you'd think there'd be teams that are looking at her as an option. So yeah, I think there's a couple of players in this side. Of course, I mean, we've said it a lot this season. The gap between the WSL and the WSL2 is expanding, I think, and that has to be bridged somehow. Hopefully, obviously, with promoting 3 teams up to WSL next season, having a load of new teams coming into WSL2, that may sort of expedite that process of bridging the gap between the 2 leagues. So I think that'll be a big positive. But yeah, I think there's no shying away from the fact that if Charlton were to go up, they would need a lot of investment. They would need some new players. But I don't think they're a million miles away. I think there are some players in that squad who are definitely good enough. As for the Leicester City side, then also a 5-back for Leicester City. In goal, Katie Keane keeps her starting spot. She's been a bit of a revelation since she came in the second half against Arsenal and has started since then. In the back 5, Sarah Mailing at right wing back. A back 3 of Janssen, Keys and Tebow. And there's Mita Ale in at left wing back. In midfield, a midfield three of Tierney, Rantala and McLaughlin. And that's a crucial part. Jutta Rantala back in this Leicester City side. And a front line of Shannon O'Brien and Hannah Kane. Let's start there then with Rantala. How important is it for Leicester City to have her back today?
It's absolutely massive, and I think that a top player, and Jutta Rantala is one of those footballers that can just make something happen out of absolutely nothing. And in these kind of one-off games, that is absolutely crucial. And I think that is why Rick Passmore has brought her back into this one, back from injury, of course, but a top player. And I think that Passmore here is definitely playing the occasion. Just start with Jutta Rantala, because if she gets a chance, she's going to take it. And that, a goal could be the difference in these kind of matches. So I can see why, he's put Rantala in there from the off. We saw her come off the bench in the Everton game and look bright. But yeah, it's a massive boost for Leicester to have Rantala back, and she could be the difference maker if today is going to be a pretty bit of a tight and nervy game.
Yeah, so first start then for Leicester City since the game against Brighton in November.
Wow.
So yeah, big moment for her to return today. As you say, played a half against Everton, did get off the bench as well against Chelsea for I think about 12 minutes. So yeah, has had some minutes in there, but it's a big ask for her to go out and play 90 minutes today. But if they can get something out of her for the first hour and put themselves in a comfortable position, they can probably then try and consolidate that lead from there. Front line, Shannon O'Brien's been a player who's really stepped up for Leicester City when it's in important moments this season. Ultimately, it's not been enough. But if we're looking at players that could step up today, you'd have to be looking at her again.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think that, as you say, O'Brien's done very well with the little chances that she's had this season. I think she's been very efficient in front of goal. Has missed a couple of good opportunities, but compared to the kind of number of chances that the top strikers and the top teams create, O'Brien has had scraps to work off at times this season, and she's got goals from absolutely nowhere. So that is another key aspect coming into this game. If Leicester can create chances for Shannon O'Brien, we know she's very much that poacher kind of striker. She will find a way to put it in the back of the net, and that could be the difference today. Is I think Leicester have just got that bit of quality that will if they get a chance, I think they're more likely to take it. But Charlton have got players like that themselves, so it's a very difficult one to call.
Yeah, incredibly difficult. But with that said, let's try and call it. If you're watching along to the show, get involved in the live chat and let us know your scoreline prediction ahead of kickoff. We'll make sure to go through all of those before we get underway. We're going to start here in the studio with our prediction, Harry. Such an important game today for Charlton Athletic and Leicester City. What is your prediction?
Oh, it's an incredibly difficult one. I am going to say Charlton 1, Leicester City 2. I'm going to back the WSL side to remain in the top flight, and I think it'll be another heartbreak for Charlton in the space of a couple of weeks. I just think that Leicester, as I say there, they've got that quality in front of goal that could make a difference. Of course, it is a strong Charlton side, and they've got some top attacking players, but I think in the pressure moments, Leicester have got players that are more likely to deliver. I will say Charlton to take the lead. I think that Emma Bissell will put the Addicks in front early doors, get the home crowd bouncing, but Leicester will find the comeback. I'll go for a goal from Rantala and a winner from Olivia McLaughlin to make the difference. I'll say Leicester to turn it around, but an incredibly competitive game. I just think the Foxes have got that little bit more to keep them in the top league.
Yeah, you're not getting invited back to the Charlton training ground next season. No, they're not going to let you in. But yeah, fair enough. I really hope Charlton win today. And I'm sorry to any Leicester fans that are watching, but we want to see sides that have the ability to invest in the WSL. And I think if Leicester stay up, all that's going to happen is they're going to end up in the same position next season and probably won't get the reprieve of the relegation playoffs. So from that selfish point of view of wanting to see the WSL as competitive as possible, I do hope Charlton win today. I think it will be an incredibly close game. I think these two sides are quite evenly matched. I think that while Leicester City have those players that have the individual quality, Charlton have a setup and they have a togetherness that Leicester City just don't have at the moment. And so it's really difficult for me to predict the winner, but I am going to say Charlton to win. I'll go the inverse of your prediction. I'm going to say 2-1 Charlton. I think Charlton will take the lead through Lucy Fitzgerald. I think Leicester City will get one back. I'm going to go with Jutta Rantala because, of course, she's going to step up in this kind of moment. But I think then it will be a late winner for Charlton. I'm going to go Amelie Thestrup to score for the Addicks and Charlton to get into the Barclays WSL for next season. So split opinion here in the studio. Let us know what you're thinking in the live chat. Jeremy's saying 2-1 to Charlton. But it's a guess. Really can't pick a clear winner. And the poll in chat, 57% Charlton, 43% Leicester. So still quite close there as well.
Yeah, exactly what I'd expect. I think it is incredibly tight between these two sides. The relegation playoffs are usually quite tight, in all the leagues that use them. And I think that, again, today, expect a low-scoring affair. I think it will be pretty nervy, pretty, tight, especially early doors. I think both sides as well have got, very decent goalkeepers. Whitehouse, I keep mentioning it, but a brilliant season in WSL2. And Katie Keane has come in for the last couple of games for Leicester and has looked much stronger than the likes of Clark did. So I think you're looking at two goalkeepers who are very capable against, especially a Leicester side who haven't been brilliant in front of goal. It's going to be a little bit nervy to start with, especially. So expect a low-scoring affair, but I still think it'll be an incredibly tight and an entertaining game.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be a fantastic game and hopefully a great endorsement of the quality between these two leagues. What a fantastic occasion it is today, and I'm sure it's going to be a hot and feisty match at the Valley. And the players there, Leicester City in a huddle, and it pans to Rick Passmore, who I think, in spite of today's result, may not be the Leicester City manager next season either way, but he'll be hoping that at least his side can pick up one victory in this calendar year. For Charlton, they'll be hoping that after what was such a strong season until about March, they can get it over the line. Let's say get us underway in this game. Rantala knocks it back. We're underway here at the Valley. It's Charlton Athletic taking on Leicester City for WSL football next season. Everything at stake in this game. What a day of football we've got planned. The worst side in the WSL this season against the top side in the WSL2, followed by the Champions League final. You couldn't have two more polarising occasions. But for these two sides, it matters just as much as the Champions League final later today. Charlton with the ball now then with this goal kick, and Whitehouse will look to send it forwards. Kevin going Charlton 2, Leicester City 2 after extra time, and a toss-up for penalties.
Ooh.
What a day. What a game that would be. Leicester City winning it back in midfield run. Tyler tries to get the flick on. Cleared away well, though, by Skeels. Bouncing around now as Karen Moyer battles away for possession, but it's McLaughlin who can get a foot on the ball, and Leicester City now can utilise possession. Keys across into Janssen. Janssen's going to go wide into Mailing. Mailing tries to play it inside. It's cut out well in there by Gillian Kenny, who tries a flick back, looking for the wide option of McAteer, but it's just out of play.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who steps up for both sides today. I think both teams have got those quality players that can just add that little bit extra. We've mentioned the likes of Rantala, the likes of McLaughlin for Leicester City, especially. I think that could be the difference between the two sides, but Charlton will hope to keep those kind of players quiet.
Ball thrown long, headed away well in there by Bradley, and now flicked on. Bissell looking for some support, unable to find anything up there, but it's out for a Charlton throw-in on this near side. Nellie Mason comes across and will look to go up the line. But yeah, I think this is going to be a very cagey, very nervy game. That's what we expect, at least, especially in the early stages. Maybe an early goal would just open it up a bit. Ball goes over the top, and Bissell is going to get around Sari Keys. There's a chance now for Charlton in the box, but Keys gets back in. Some brilliant defending there from the Leicester centre-half, who does leave Katie Keane hanging. That was good defending and cleared it away well. Yeah, it does very well there. Keys to recover, because initially Bissell got the wrong side of it, and it looked for the world to end up conceding a penalty, but Keys does well, gets back the right side of the forward and wins the ball back cleanly. But positive from Charlton, that threat in behind. Indeed, and Ellie Mason now is going to look to make something happen with this throw into the area. Bissell tries to get the flick on there. Can't quite manage it. Here is Lobato. And they're going to be forced backwards. Skeels looking out to the left-hand side. Finds Mason, who's holding the width well. Into McAteer. That's Bissell coming short for the option, but she can't take on the full-back, and it's knocked out of play for another Charlton throw-in. So Charlton just having a bit more joy in possession in these early stages. And looking to put this Leicester City backline under pressure. Mason waiting for the short option. McAteer drops into receive. Mason now loops it in there. It's a good claim from Katie Keane, and Leicester City will look to play out. Keane's not happy there. She was roughed up a bit. And that will be a Leicester City free kick. He slipped. Not going to stand for any of that today. Yeah.
I think it was Hutton in the end. Was it Hutton? Yeah, Hutton who just ended up blocking off Keane as she went to throw the ball away. And yeah, you're not gonna get away with that.
No.
But it's positive from Charlton. This is what I said they've got to try and do. Is just if they can get on top early doors. Yeah, with how inconsistent Leicester have been and the lack of form. Yeah, if you can get on top, you can really start to put pressure on what is already a bit of a down camp.
Indeed. Mailing trying to go up the line there, ends up running it off the pitch. That will be a Charlton throw-in again on this near side. Mason goes direct, looking for Bissell. Mason again now, winning possession, and here's Bradley. Plays it back to Scales. Lobato. Now Mason. Trying to slip it through the lines, and that's not finding its intended target. It's Bissell. Bissell tried to find the pass out wide, just misplaced. This does look like a flat 4 then for Charlton today.
Which is, again, a bit more aggressive. And I think that so far it's paid off. They're the ones on the front foot, they're the ones on the ball. And I think it's that extra player could just make the difference in attacking areas.
Yeah, indeed. And the defender, it does look like they may be defending in a 5, to be fair. Karen Moore getting quite deep. Throwing again. Leicester City hike the pitch now. That's what I mean when I say it's going to be cagey. We've seen everything has been a throw-in so far.
Yeah, we've seen more long throws than anything else. I think both sides are happy just to work out the line, get somewhat near the box, and just lob it in from the touchline.
We're also fairly safe defending a throw-in to a degree. Because it's the most predictable action, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Leicester City win back possession there after giving it away. Janssen goes down the line. Lovely pass inside from Rantala. Just adding a touch of quality, Jutta Rantala, to this Leicester City side, which they have so desperately needed for a while now. Janssen across the back line. T-Bow. McLaughlin back into Keys. Now Emma Janssen looking to play direct into Kane. Heads it back to Tierney. And Tierney now, all the way back to Keys. And here's T-Bow. Looks down the line, finds Ale. Now back to T-Bow. And into Rantala, who's caught in possession, but it's a very good challenge. Strong from Kenny, and then Bradley dragged down in there by McLaughlin. He slipped, not having any arguments, and that will be a free kick. And Rantala's now not particularly happy, and she'll make her complaints known. Didn't think there was anything wrong with this. It's a really good tackle from Gillian Kenny.
Yeah, touch let her down a little bit there, Rantala, and it's invited Kenny to come in and get a touch on the ball. But better from Leicester, just getting themselves in possession and trying to move forwards, but again, just failing to do anything with it.
Mason down the line to McAteer, inside to Bissell. McAteer. Kenny. Now to Mason. Skills. Fitzgerald plays it into Moya. Moya tried to go down the line, and it's intercepted well, and it is a foul on Asmita Ale. Interesting to see Fitzgerald playing right back today. Very different role for her, but it just allows them to have I mean, they've got so many attacking players on the pitch. They can get into attacking areas today from that position. Could definitely impact the game.
Yeah.
Free kick now, though, for Leicester City. And, well, the Charlton dugout not too pleased with that. Ball sent forward there as Kane looks for the flick on. It's one back, though, by Charlton. Here's Bradley. Wide into Moya. Tries to play down the line. Cuts out well. Here's Tierney. And a pass around the corner. Kane to Rantala. Rantala tries to feed it through the lines, and it's blocked well. And now Mason goes down the line. That's a great pass from Ellie Mason into McAteer. McAteer wants to take on Mailing and ends up losing possession. Now Leicester can play forwards as they're switching from right to left. Rantala goes backwards, though, and they'll consolidate possession. Here's Keys. Tierney. Janssen. Mason does well to clear it away. A battle now in midfield. As Kane is brought down in there, but does squeeze the pass forward, and Mayling can't find the forward option. It definitely feels like both sides, understandably, are playing with a handbrake on at the moment.
Yeah.
And this game, short of some sort of defensive error that someone's able to capitalise on, it does feel like it could come down to which side gambles first. And do they get it right?
Yeah, exactly that. It's a bit scrappy, it's a bit stop-start, but it just needs that spark to bring it to life.
Clumsy foul there from Karen Moyer, just pressing with intensity and ends up catching Yuli Tival there. It will be a free kick for Leicester.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'm not quite sure how much of Tival she got. I think there's definitely something in it. But it's a second foul in the space of a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I don't think she's touched her at all there. For Tival to go down like that I think, Moya understandably not too happy with how Tival's gone down there. An incredible support here as well at the Valley. I haven't mentioned that yet today, but a record attendance for Charlton women, breaking it. A chance now for Rantala as it's charged down and blocked away. Here's Ale trying to keep it alive. McLaughlin. Kane. Rantala twisting and turning, and a shot. First shot of the afternoon for Leicester City over the bar.
Yeah, just it's high and it's wide, but it's signs of what could be to come for Leicester. Rantala just getting herself half a yard on the edge of the D, and while the shot doesn't come off that time, we know that she's got it in her locker, and Charlton can't allow Rantala to pick up the ball in space and turn that easily. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, Lobato does brilliantly. Steps on her really aggressively. I mean, that could be where they get caught out today if they've got to defend like that every time. But Lobato steps up well, gets on her back, makes it difficult for Rantala. Ball goes long now for Charlton, but unable there, Jodie Hutton, to keep it on. As I mentioned, in terms of attendance, Charlton Women's highest attendance ever, breaking the record they set in 2003 when they played Arsenal. Incredible to see that level of support, and it is a strong away showing as well from Leicester City, which is excellent to see. And I understand that it would be very difficult to continue following that team. And I mean, we were at the Arsenal game, we saw the travelling support, and fair play to them showing up every week when it hasn't been a great season for Leicester. Here come Charlton again. Bissell trying to play through the lines, and it's just a miscommunication there between Charlton players. It was Hutton, sorry, dropped off, was trying to find the pass through to Bissell. And Bissell had made the run in the other direction.
Hutton would be so frustrated because that is the through ball was absolutely brilliant. Perfectly disguised, right way, but Bissell just made the complete wrong run.
Yeah, it's a very even game so far. They are trading attacking opportunities. A battle in midfield. Rantala loses out. McAteer. Now to Bradley. Looks to clip it in behind. That's just going to have too much on it, definitely. Runs quickly into the gloves of Katie Keane, and Leicester City Keane. Let's get the ball back in play. Janssen. Now to T-Bow. Lovely pass across the back line. T-Bow's going to go wide into Asmita Rael. Inside now to Kane, who tries to get away there from Moyer, but it's a good tackle from Fitzgerald. And it's out now for a Charlton throw-in. But yeah, 12 minutes gone here. Let us know in the live chat what you're making of the game so far. Which side do you think are playing the better football? And this is how you kind of expected the first 12 minutes to go. It has been very, very cagey, as we kind of expected. Throwing down the line from Fitzgerald, headed away by T-Bow. Fitzgerald steps forwards well. And it's a little bit messy in there. Comes off Sam Tierney, and it's out for another Charlton throw. Fitzgerald into Moyer. Strong in there from McLaughlin to win back possession. And that is a late challenge from Tierney. And I'm surprised. Has she been penalised for that? No, she hasn't. Leicester City will keep playing on. Looked like everyone stopped, as though Heaslip had made a decision, but I think she let it go. A little bit fortunate there, Tierney, because he just seemed to follow through on the challenge and catch Emma Bissell. Leicester City in possession again. Here's Keys. Out to Janssen. Now down the line, Mayling. Trying to find a forward pass. It's one back in midfield, though. Miscommunication. Again in there, and it's slipped through from Ale, looking for the run of Hannah Kane. But it'll run all the way through to Sophie Whitehouse.
Yeah, a bit of a let-off there for Charlton. Just two players in the middle of the park leaving it for each other, and allowed Leicester to to jump in and get the ball back. But positive from both sides, really. I think that I don't think either side will be buzzing with how the game's gone, but it's it's not been a terrible start. They're both in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin says even game, no risk taking. Jeremy says Leicester are moving the ball well in parts, look a bit better on the ball than Charlton. And Locus agreeing, Leicester seems better on the ball, but Charlton aggressive enough to stop them. Yeah, I think that's a good summarisation of the first 12 minutes. It has been, or 14 minutes now. But we've seen attacking opportunities now for both sides. Leicester seem slightly better at executing them. But neither side have put together a really dangerous attacking chance yet. Battling away now in midfield as Charlton go long. McLaughlin there does well to find a way out and passes into Ale. Back to McLaughlin. Under pressure from Moya. T-Bow. Leicester can play forwards now, and Tierney can carry this ball. Looks to the left-hand side with Ale. McLaughlin. Now Janssen. Wide into Mailing. Mailing will go down the line, looking for Antala. Overhit, though. But again, nice passage from Leicester City, just now unable to find a ball into an attacking option.
Yeah, that final ball for Leicester is just lacking. But it's positive that the build phase is there, and they're getting chances to try and find forward players, even if it isn't materialising, and they'll hope that at some point in the game it will eventually come off. But, I mean, 15 minutes gone, it's the perfect start for both goalkeepers. They'll be very happy with the fact that they haven't been tested so far. If you're a goalkeeper in a big game, you're just thinking, right, early doors, don't give me anything to do and let me settle into the contest. And neither goalkeeper has had anything to do with so far.
Pass down the line now, but it is intercepted, knocked out for a Charlton throw-in. We've got a lovely camera in the crowd now as the game goes on. Here's Fitzgerald. That was interestingly given against Jody Hutton there. We didn't get a good angle of that incident, but Heaslip seems sure of her decision. Let's have another look. Yeah, I think it's just over-aggressive, really, from Hutton.
Yeah. They both jump for it, but Hutton kind of jumps through the back and brings T-Bow with her.
Yeah. T-Bow into Keys. And now Janssen. Back to Katie Keane. Keys. Into Tierney. Tierney into Janssen. Janssen's touch a little heavy, and it's out for a Charlton throw-in. Kenny back into Mason, who battles away and clips it in behind. That's a great ball from Ellie Mason. And here's Emma Bissell. Now plays it into McAteer. McAteer with options inside. Hutton. Lays it into Gillian Kenny. Kenny back to Fitzgerald. A bit too negative that from Charlton. Got the ball forwards well and just couldn't quite find an option in the final third. Scales. Fitzgerald. Laying it back to Bradley. Scales again. Lifting into Mason. Positive touch now and space for Ellie Mason to drive into now. Plays it direct into Bissell, into Hutton, who turns, takes the shot. It's blocked. A collision there on the edge of the box. He slipped though, seeing nothing wrong with it. And play continues. Bradley. Kenny. Skips away from the challenge of Tierney well. Now tries to find the forward pass. Lays it into Hutton. Hutton inside. It's cleared away and smashed away well by McLaughlin. And they'll battle away. Kane trying to find O'Brien. Misplaced though, and one back by Skills.
Yeah, good move from Charlton, who are just trying to get themselves back on top in this game, and it's been a positive last couple of minutes.
Lovely play down the right-hand side, and Moya now will get away from Ale. She's dragged down. That's going to be the first yellow card of the game. A blatant foul from Asmita Ale, and Charlton have momentum at the moment.
Yeah, really good stuff from the Addicks. Last couple of minutes have just raised their level. This is good football. It's a lovely ball through into Moya, who gets the wrong side of Ale, and yeah, it's poor from Ale really, who gets caught out and commits the foul. But earlier on, Hutton being denied by a brilliant block from T-Bow, and yet it was the collision around the edge of the penalty area between I think it was McLaughlin and McAteer. I think there's enough in it though. It was a nudge in the back, but it's not enough to give a penalty.
No, I think it's just a collision. Two-player challenge with the ball. Nothing too wrong with that. And Charlton, though, do now have a free kick in a really good position. And they utilise this. Charlton with a few players here, many players still in an offside position. You would imagine they will drop back into onside position. They do indeed. It's floated towards the back post, headed across from Hutton and cleared away by T-Bow. Moya now batting away. Can she get the shot away? Plays it back instead. Lifted in towards the back post. Hutton's going to get there again. Heads across goal and heads over the bar. Not a bad routine from Charlton. The execution just slightly off.
Yeah, they were annoyed. That didn't work out. I thought the initial ball towards the back post, Hutton unmarked, does well to head it back across goal, and Moya just couldn't work it goalwards. And then, yeah, the recycling wasn't bad, but the second ball in was probably a little bit too much on it. And
I think Hutton could have got that a little flatter, though. Made it more difficult, but
potentially. I mean, whether she was the intended target with the second delivery, I don't know. But positive, really good last 5 minutes from Charlton, which is exactly what they need to do, because before that, Leicester would get themselves back into the game.
Yeah, and they're starting to get shots now, Charlton, which is important.
Mm.
I think Moya's got to take the shot on there. She turns and faces up to goal, but has Rantala away, so she turns back and plays and passes it back to recycle it. I think got to just take the shot there.
Yeah.
Tierney does well to evade Kenny, but Emma Bissell gets back in. Here's Fitzgerald. Moya can't quite bring it under her control, and that's out for Leicester City throw-in. And Karen Hill was just fuming that is slightly higher up the pitch than she would have liked, and Heaslip does agree.
And they're coming in for a drinks break.
Okay, after 20 minutes, we do have a drinks break. I mean, that is understandable given the conditions. I think we might need one at some point. But that gives a nice chance then. 21 minutes played. How would you sum up that first 21 minutes?
I think it's been pretty even. I think both sides, you can tell why both sides are in this kind of game. You know, there are a couple of errors that have crept in here and there, but on the whole, they've both sides have done okay. I think they've both had some decent passages. The momentum has chopped and changed between the two of them. Charlton's probably started the better side. Leicester then had a decent spell, but I think the last 5 minutes have just swung back into the home side's favour. So it's very even, and I mean it's going to come down to whichever side can take advantage while they're on top. Both teams are going to get chances across this match, and it's just going to come down to who can actually make it count when they have the momentum. But yeah, halfway through this first 45 minutes and not much separate them at all, really.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting case, isn't it? Because I think we've said a lot this season that Leicester City are probably a side who aren't good enough for the WSL, but are too good for the WSL 2. I think there's games showing that they wouldn't absolutely walk the WSL 2, even with this squad. And I know, obviously, form plays a part, and I mean, if this side went down, you'd still think they'd win the WSL 2. But yeah, I think it's interesting to see how they've approached this game. I think Charlton have done a great job so far. I think to give them their credit, Leicester look a bit more of a complete side on the ball, but Charlton have done very well to manage that so far. When they've come forward, it's been a little bit clumsy, but they are making it work. And I think if that can just become a little bit smoother, a little bit more calmer, I think they can absolutely find some upside in those attacking areas. Kevin's saying drinks break. It is hot here in southeast London. It's hot everywhere. It's hot here, it's particularly in the studio. It's like an oven. It just keeps getting warmer. But luckily, we do have 2 hours between streams today. If this was a 2 o'clock kickoff, we would be like just around Tyler with the towel around
Yeah.
their neck. That'd be the only way we can get through it, but it's not too bad. So Leicester City throwing on the far side then, and they'll look to progress down the left. And they may well go backwards as Ale looks back to Tebow. Now we'll play forwards. Rantala dropping in to receive. Back to Ale. Ale trying to go direct. Head away well by Fitzgerald, out for another Leicester throw-in. Now make their way up the touchline.
Yeah. Again, throw-ins have been utilised by both sides quite a bit so far in the first 24 minutes, just to get themselves up the pitch and put the opposition under a bit of pressure. Neither side have really challenged from any of them, though.
No, there's been a lot of throw-ins, though. I've never seen 16 throw-ins in 24 minutes.
That is a lot. That is an abnormal amount of throw-ins.
A lot of clearances out to the side, just not wanting to take those risks. Charlton now with a goal kick, though, to change the pace. And, well, Whitehouse just rearranging her Charlton side to pass it across to Lovato. Fitzgerald back to Skills, loses out in there, and the battle will result in a Leicester City free kick. Too strong there from Skills. An opportunity now for Leicester to get the ball into the box from a decent position.
Yeah, that's what they can't do. You can't step up and commit. You don't want to be stepping up and committing fouls. Admittedly, it's better than stepping up and getting caught out, but it's not an effective way to defend.
This will take something quite special, though, from Sam Tierney to really challenge from this range.
Yes, that is true.
What can Tierney produce? We'll lift it into the area. It's not a bad ball. Headed away, though, well by Mason. McLaughlin touching it down. Rantala now will take aim from range, and well, that could have been something quite special, but a bit too central with that strike from away from goal. And a good claim from Whitehouse.
Yeah, needing more pace on it to try and beat the keeper from there, but on target.
Mason trying to play it through, looking for Hutton, and Hutton there doesn't get any of the ball and lumps into Tebow, and I think Heaslip again is going to have a chat with her.
Yeah, Leicester got a couple of complaints because it's been a couple of times now that Charlton players have just ended up bundling in to the Leicester centre halves. I think that one's a bit more accidental, but still late from Hutton. But yeah, Rantala then with the first shot on target of the afternoon.
Come from about 30 yards, I think.
Don't think it was ever going to go in, but it's a first.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those where you've got to generate a ridiculous amount of power there because the keeper's going to see it all the way. Keys now with possession. As Charlton apply the press. Here's Keane. McLaughlin. Playing it to Janssen. Mailing now. Losing possession. Here's McAteer. Gillian Kenny. Charlton to the right-hand side now with Fitzgerald. It's a lovely pass direct into Hutton. Hutton holding it up well. Trying to play it inside there as Keys cuts it out, and it's out for another throw-in. And Charlton now can look to put pressure on the Leicester City penalty area.
It's incredible how both sides are responding to each other to completely even it out. Charlton have a good spell. Then it's around, Leicester come forward to win a free kick. We have to see the first shot on target. And now it's Charlton who are trying to come the other way. Yeah, just every couple of minutes. It's a very balanced game.
Toing and throwing, really. That, though, not working out well for Charlton. But they do get a throw in. A bit deeper on the pitch. Fitzgerald launches up the line, headed away well, and flicked on by Rantala, and O'Brien will give chase. Headed out of play by Lobato. And that'll be a Leicester City throw-in. As they make their way up the touchline. Here is Asmita Ale. Tierney. Pass wide now from Kane into Mailing. Back inside to Kane. Tierney. T-Bow. Trying to play through the lines. They're trying to find Rantala whenever they can on the in and around the penalty area. Cut out though by Charlton. Ball goes long. Hutton batting away with Keys. Now Mailing as Leicester City looks to come the other way. Ball over the top. Mason does well just to get back in. Knotted out for Leicester City throwing.
Yeah. Trapped the ball well. Didn't allow herself to get caught out. But again, positives from Leicester.
Janssen into Mailing. Back to Janssen, and that's cut out. Poor pass, really. Kenny into McAteer, and Charlton will look to come forwards, but it's good defending as Mailing gets back in, and Leicester recover possession. Head away well by Lobato, and out a play for another throw-in. Lifted in there by Kane. Ale tries to touch it down. Now Tierney. And that's a little bit over the line, apparently, from Emma Bissell. That will be a free kick for Leicester.
Yeah, it just looked like a bit of a one-handed shove as Tierney was backtracking anyway, a bit needless, and it'll give the Leicester captain another opportunity to swing the ball in from deep and look to put Charlton under a bit more pressure. But again, this is a good spell now from Leicester. Bit straighter this one, bit more difficult. You know, can be more difficult to try and get the right lift on it and pick out a teammate in the box. But you know, Sam Tierney's definitely got it in our locker. So definitely a crossing opportunity rather than a shooting one. But you know, still a difficult ball to get right.
Tierney lifts it in there, headed across goal, and a great claim in there from Sophie Whitehouse. Quick off her line and able to make the claim.
Yeah, it was a push given on T-Bout. It was a bit of a complaint from the Charlton defender that her hair got pulled, but definitely don't think it did. Just a push from T-Bout. She won the header, but won the header committing a foul.
Whitehouse now is going to launch this one long. Trying to find a Charlton player. Headed away well, though, by T-Bout. Launched forward by Scales. Keys heads it into no man's land. McAteer brought down, and that will be a Charlton free kick. In a decent position, this. Again, quite straight to the goal from range, but definitely something they can look to put Leicester under pressure with.
Yeah. Difficult one for Tierney. I don't think she necessarily means to block off McAteer, but still a foul. He gets there first, just knocks it past him. Tierney runs into it. Not a nice collision for either of them, but yeah, it gives Charlton an opportunity. And I think they've looked a bit stronger when they've had that directness to them again. If that's just a long ball forwards, and you know Bissell's brought it down. They've managed to work it into to winning a free kick, and I think they've got to try and use that a little bit more. That directness, put Leicester under pressure defensively, a bit of an aerial assault, and just see what you can do. I think that the Foxes are better at limiting Charlton from playing through, but it's that ball over the top element that I think is when Charlton look most dangerous.
Yeah. Definitely. So, half an hour gone here. Passmore and his coaching staff just discussing how they can get a bit more out of this game. What do Leicester need to do? Because it's just a bit too slow at times for me.
Yeah, they've been in the game, but that's not good enough, really, when you're the side who are already in the WSL. You should be coming into this one as favourites, playing the stronger football and being on top in the game. They've got to move it quicker, which is difficult in the conditions. But I think that, they've got players who've got the ability to move it quicker. And, if you can get the likes of Tierney and McLaughlin and Rantala moving it sharply in midfield, the gaps will open up. Charlton will struggle to contend with it. So yeah, a bit more quality on the ball and a bit quicker with it is probably the best way to go.
And a good position for this free kick again. Charlton going to look towards the back post here with Jody Hutton. Oh, they're going to try another routine. A runner off the ball, and it's blocked by Ale and out for a Charlton corner.
Don't now mind that. It's I think it was pretty obvious what was going to happen. Once Kenny started to run off, and Kane did well to follow it, but Charlton will take a corner from that position. As I say, those deliveries can be difficult from such a central position. Corner is a much nicer opportunity to put Leicester under more pressure.
So Hutton over this one. Who can she pick out from this position? Lifting it in towards the back post, headed down and headed away in the middle of the box. Aaron Moya will drop it to Fitzgerald, who looks to slice from range. Slicing wide of the mark.
Yeah, a bit of a wild attempt there from Fitzgerald. And again, it's a couple of deliveries now for Charlton where they've made contact with that first ball and they've managed to keep it alive, but then Leicester are the ones getting on the second ball and dealing with it. But if they keep winning that first ball within the penalty area, eventually it will fall for a red shirt to poke it home. But yes, a couple of times now from corners and free kicks where it's been a red shirt making the first contact, but they just can't follow up.
Yeah, they're trying to battle, but it's not quite coming off. Keane launching the ball forwards. Bissell trying to find Hutton. Looked like a foul in there, but McLaughlin will get away with it. She's forced backwards now to Ale. McLaughlin. They battle away on the sidelines. One back row by Charlton. Moya. Hutton flicks it on. Charlton with numbers forward here. Can they find the right pass into Emma Bissell? Takes aim. Emma Bissell just wide. Lovely move from Charlton. Just can't quite find the shot on target. Not bad though at all down this right hand side. Worked well between Moya and Hutton. Moya, I'm not sure she knew where to play this to. They both made the same movement, Bissell and Hutton. It made it difficult to find either of them. Finds Emma Bissell. Yeah, just unlucky not to find the back of the net there. Not a bad effort. Wide of the mark.
Yeah, just ended up dragging it past the far post, but I feel like she's got to hit the target from there. Right idea to go across goal, but I feel like you've just got to try and test Katie Keane. But not a bad effort and positive pressure from Charlton. Earning that chance through just putting Leicester under pressure on the ball. And eventually, they turn it over and they work it nicely for a shooting opportunity.
Here is McLaughlin.
Best chance of the game though, so far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 37 minutes of half chances for both sides really. And again, they're doing well at the moment, Charlton, to turn it over half the pitch.
Here's Moya again. Has the wide option now, and will use it, and it's just overtouched. Overhit there. She tried to play it around the defender there, Bradley. Try to take a positive touch, just too much on it.
Yeah. I feel waiting for the contact. Just looks to knock it past T-Bow and hopes that T-Bow's going to stick a leg out and wipe her out, but smart defending from T-Bow, doesn't dive in and just allows the midfielder to outrun herself. But again, it's positive stuff from Charlton. And that will be a bit of a concern to Leicester.
Ball launched forward by Keane in midfield. It's one back by Kenny. Now Bissell. McAteer trying to lift it forwards. It's out by Janssen. McLaughlin. And here's T-Bow under pressure here from Moya. And Moya turns it over. And Hutton's going to get there. Charlton now breaking into the box, lifted in there. It's cleared away though by Janssen. Here's Bradley. Out to Fitzgerald. Charlton have got to use this chance while they're in this ascendancy. Fitzgerald, Hutton lifts it in there, headed on and headed away. I'm not sure who that came off in there. Whether it was a Charlton Leicester player, either way, it stays on the pitch. Leicester look play down the line. Has that come off Mason? Indeed it has, and it will be a Leicester City throw-in.
Yeah, I think Mason could have been a bit smarter there and just won a throw, but positive again from Charlton. Not a bad ball in this from Hutton. Yeah, I think the last contact was off Emma Janssen in the middle for Leicester. But I felt initially Hutton could have worked it with Moyer on the far side rather than swinging it in when they initially turned the ball over.
Yeah. Here is Moyer. He's dropped in to receive. And now will look to come forwards. Can she find the forward pass? Still coming forwards. Moyer shifts it into Fitzgerald. We'll play it back down the line to Moyer, who tries to turn around. Tebow takes a safe option, but Leicester City are under pressure here towards the end of this half.
Yeah, really good spell this from Charlton, and Karen Moyer is making things happen for the Addicks, just dropping in, picking up the ball and being positive with it, driving forwards, keeping Leicester under pressure, running at them. And yeah, this has been a really good bit of consistency. And I said that they've done well and they've threatened a little bit from set pieces, and they've got to try and use this corner.
Indeed, Hutton over this then. We saw a couple of decent deliveries from Hutton in open play. What can she create from this corner? Lifts it in there. Keane comes to try and claim. Mason, can she poke it goalwards? It's still bouncing around for Charlton. Can anyone turn it home? It's cleared away. Is there a foul in there? Indeed, there is. A mess in and around the penalty area. And that will be a free kick to Leicester City.
Yeah, again, same old story from every corner really so far, is that the first contact is a red shirt, but they just cannot find a way to bundle it home. Mason in there swinging a leg, Kenny as well, and just very messy, and no one can put one goalwards, and eventually there is a foul on a Leicester player.
Katie Keane not so happy with something here. She'll have a chat with Heaslip. Not entirely sure what the referees are checking here, but she'll now be allowed to take this free kick. Keane launching it forwards. One back in there by Emma Bissell. Lovato trying to play it straight to Hutton. Keys, though, will intercept and launch over the top into Whitehouse.
Yeah. Although they haven't managed to get themselves in front, I think very encouragingly for Charlton, it's been a very not slow afternoon for Whitehouse, but she's had nothing to do.
Yeah,
and
she hasn't.
That's encouraging. Capture Jutta Ranchala shot from range, and that is it.
Yes, only one shot on target though in this game, and that was that Ranchala effort. Kevin says Charlton are dominating. Absolutely. Charlton have had the pick of the chances, really, in this first half. They've definitely had a lot of the ball in the last 5-10 minutes since the drinks break. Really, they've been the better side, but they haven't been able to capitalise and get really enough shots away or put Katie Keane under any sort of pressure. Sent forwards here by McAteer. Keys will bring it down. McAteer again, nudged off the ball there from Mailing. That looked a little too aggressive, and indeed it was. Charlton free kick, and again in a good position.
Yeah, clumsy from Mailing. Just, she'll clamp it side to side, but it's not. It just shoulders McAteer in the back, and another needless free kick to give away. And Charlton are just keeping this aerial assault on Leicester. Really, we've seen a number of deliveries, and corners and free kicks are a bit more frequent, which is encouraging, but you've got to try and make them count while they're on top. They've got, so this game is going to ebb and flow, and while they're getting the better of Leicester at the moment, they need to, at least put a shot on target for the first time today.
Hutton lifting it in towards the back post, and that's just over here. And that's out for a Leicester City goal kick.
Yeah, got to be better than that. A couple of good deliveries from Hutton today. That one, though, too floaty over hit. And a reprieve for Leicester.
Indeed. And you think now Leicester City will just be happy to get in at the half?
Yeah, definitely. But I just don't know what Leicester are expecting. Doesn't feel like they've changed anything from how they've played every single other game this season.
Yeah, it just looks like a lack of confidence, really. The only slight change is that they just seem to be trying to find Yutha Rantala whenever they get the ball.
Yeah.
But Charlton have grown quite wise to that quite quickly, and she's not really being given any opportunity to touch the ball. Gets a touch there and is fouled by Karen Moyer.
Yeah. And again, late from Moyer, who's had a couple today. But yeah, I mean, Shannon O'Brien hasn't touched the ball in this first half. You know, really hasn't had anything to do.
Yeah.
That's a problem when you need to find a goal to keep yourself in the top flight.
Yeah, only 10 touches for Shannon O'Brien.
That's more than I thought it was going to be, but
yeah, hasn't got a shot away at all yet. Hasn't really been in a position. Hasn't really got the ball in positions where she can have an impact. Ball sent forwards, bounces around. Chance now for Kane, who turns, finds McLaughlin. Can she poke it goalwards? Tierney takes aim. What a save! Whitehouse with a strong right hand to push it away. Keys now loops it back in there, headed around. Kane towards goal, blocked on the goal line, and Charlton survive a storm there from Leicester City. And it's now a Leicester corner, and they'll keep the pressure on. The best chance of the half, they're coming as a result of this set piece.
Yeah, Charlton don't deal with the initial ball, and it was a great tackle in the first stage to deny McLaughlin, and it falls nicely for O'Brien, who you were saying hadn't had a shot yet. Hits it well. It's a little bit too central. That is a great save from Whitehouse, who was going the wrong way, has to dive back on herself, and does brilliantly to get a strong hand to it. Brilliant defending from Charlton, but Leicester coming very close to find the back of the net.
And Labate with a black block on the line as well. Ball in towards the front post. Leicester City cannot capitalise on that momentum. And we've got 5 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half.
I mean, I know we stopped for a drinks break, but 5 feels like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the ball's been out of play a lot, but
True.
And they all add up. But yeah, 5 does feel excessive. A 2-minute drinks break, and yeah.
There's a reason Whitehouse won the Golden Glove this season in the WSL too. Ridiculously good save.
Much clean sheets, but yes.
Yeah.
The reason is she got more clean sheets than everyone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, brilliant goalkeeper. It's been such an important part of the Charlton defence. As you say, very deserving of that accolade. Hutton wins back possession, trying to scoop it towards Moyer. Ball's now for Bradley. Here's Fitzgerald, who looks to lift it over the top, and too much on that from Fitzgerald, and it goes out of play. Leicester City throw in then on the far side, right by the Leicester City supporters.
Yeah, they've got to try and take a bit of belief, maybe, from that shot on target. Try and end the half strongly. Can they nick a goal here, Leicester, before the break? Be a pivotal time to score.
Ball sent forwards. Could hold up in there from Kane. He knocks it all the way back to Janssen. Slipping it forwards into Kane. Knocked wide now by McLaughlin. Just about kept on by Mailing, and Mailing is fouled in there. It's going to be a free kick in this corner, and that is really clumsy from Ellie Mason.
Poor. Really poor from Mason. Just unnecessarily kicks Mailing after the ball's gone. Easy yellow card and a very silly free kick to give away. 2 minutes out from half time. And Mason has just gifted Leicester a free kick in such a nice area. Just comes. I mean, maybe she can't stop herself because she's running in momentum, but doesn't need to bring down Mailing there whatsoever. And she'll be hoping that her side can deal with this free kick quite easily.
Mantala delivers into the dangerous area, headed away well by Skills. Janssen. Lifted into the box by T-Bow, nodded on in there by Tierney. Wide of the mark, though.
Yeah, not quite the technique that she was looking for. But it feels like for the couple of chances they've had, I don't see Leicester scoring before the break here.
Charlton are going to go long with the flick on. And to be fair, I think it will remain 0-0 as we go into half-time. So we take into the last minute of the additional period. Keane. Now Janssen. Trying to play long. Mason heading it on. Heading it out for a Leicester throw. So it's Mitrael across to go and take this.
Both sides have been happy to take their time over set pieces and throws, which I think speaks volumes. You know, both sides happy to take time out of the game.
Ale floats it in, and a good claim from Whitehouse. And a chance now, Hutton breaking in behind. Hutton floating it in there, and out up quickly is Katie Keane to come and collect. And that will see us into half-time. Charlton Athletic 0, Leicester City 0 after 45 minutes of action here at the Valley in this important promotion relegation playoff. It's been a bit of a cagey affair, both sides with opportunities throughout the first half. Leicester with the pick of them towards the end of the half. Charlton, though, had the better, you think, earlier in the half. But at the break, it is Charlton 0, Leicester 0.
Yeah, fair scoreline, really. On the reflection of that first 45 minutes, quite an even contest. Both sides having good passages throughout the first 45 minutes. Both sides playing some decent football. The momentum ebbed and flowed, but apart from a couple of decent opportunities for Leicester, I wouldn't say either side looked particularly close to scoring. You know, I think although Leicester have had a couple of shots on target, there hasn't been that consistent pressure where you think they're going to score in a minute. So yeah, 0-0 probably the fairest result.
Yeah, some lovely passages from Charlton. Just haven't been able to find that final ball. Haven't been able to get shots away on goal yet. That's been the important thing yet to test Katie Keane in this game. Leicester, I think, had the best one-off chance, but outside of that, they haven't really created loads. That messy situation which Charlton just didn't deal with in the box. Leicester did a lot with that chance. But outside of that, they've been fairly poor. I think Charlton's combinations into attacking areas have been better than Leicester so far. Just haven't been able to have the finishing touch for a lot of this half.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that they've moved the ball nicely. There's been a couple of deliveries that haven't managed to put away. And although they're keeping the ball alive and they recycle it well, they just can't find a way to goal. And it's difficult. It is difficult in these kind of games because you want to score and both sets of coaching on the touchline will know how important taking the lead could be here. You put yourself in a fantastic position, but they'll also understand the problems that could occur if you do go for it and it doesn't pay off, or if you do just take that risk and you end up hurting you. So it is difficult. It is very difficult to balance these kind of games, and I think we're seeing that between these two sides. That you've got. I think it's been positive, but neither side wants to give too much away. Neither side wants to take risks, and of course that will change as we go on into the second half because time will eventually run out. But with extra time penalties, I mean, we could be they might be happy to go all the way and try and see it through. But yeah, understandably, first half neither side really taking too many risks, and they say some nice passages, but nothing. There's nothing that I've sat there and gone, they should have scored that.
Yeah, I don't think the intensity of the game's been as high as we expected. I think, I guess because of the heat that likely is when we've seen how much the players needed that drinks break, I think that's probably had an impact on the intensity, and it has meant that it's felt quite sluggish at times. I think it's been a bit unfair on the players. If it was nicer conditions, we'd probably see the ball moving a little bit better. I think a lot of the misplaced passes and the the slow moving has been because of the heat. Really, they really look like they're struggling out there. But yeah, there've been opportunities for both sides, but I just think Charlton have got to be a bit calmer in front of goal. It's been too frantic at both ends, really, for Charlton, but particularly in attacking areas where they just seem desperate to get the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
And you've just got to relax in front of goal, hit the target, and make Katie Keane make the save at the very least. Too many times they're trying to find the perfect shot, or they're rushing it and overhitting it, and they haven't yet tested the Leicester goalkeeper.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I think I think that will be the main thing that Karen Hills will be telling our players in that dressing room right now, is that they've got to test Katie Keane. They've got to put her under a bit more pressure. I think that she's looked a lot more comfortable than Clark did since Keane came in for the last couple of games. But she's not a top quality goalkeeper, I wouldn't say. And she's not. She's part of a Leicester side that are were to obviously finish bottom of the league. So I think that obviously, and still quite a young goalkeeper. So I think to put her under pressure in these kind of games, got to test her. Got to test any goalkeeper really in these kind of games. And I think that will be the thing that Charlton will be most frustrated by, is that not a single shot on target. You don't score in football without having a shot on target. So they've got to find a way to put Keane under pressure and find a route to goal.
Yeah, I think the experience is the biggest thing. This is just her 4th appearance for Leicester City, her 6th appearance in professional football. You've got to make her work. You've got to make life difficult for her. I just don't think they've done that enough yet. But, I mean, she's been a brilliant goalkeeper for them in the last couple of games when called upon to make saves. But yeah, there is that huge unknown. And if you can test her today, can you make her work? Can you force an error? Can you perhaps take advantage of a mistake? That's what they've got to try and do. But not enough shots on goal yet. And again, it's kind of a mixture of poor shooting, but also poor creativity. In the final third, at times it has been a bit too stagnant, a bit too static, and that final ball is really lacking at the moment.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that will be it. It's one of those where the final ball can come, and that will be the encouraging aspect. Is it is something that in the second half we could definitely see them start to produce, because the fundamentals are there. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It has been a bit of just that lack of quality, lack of calmness, and I think that, I mean, we've seen it on both sides. But yeah, it's just it's a difficult one. It is a difficult one in these kind of games to find that ball. And I think that oftentimes you've also got to try and you're not trying to find that perfect ball. Sometimes just play the more simpler option. Don't put as much pressure on it. And I think that the couple of times we've seen that pressure creep in. There's been put too much on the ball, or it's been fizzed in the wrong direction, and just it's not come together nicely. But as that final ball, getting that final ball right is definitely something that we could see happen in the second half, and ultimately could make a difference.
Yeah, Kevin says half-time and a draw seems a likely outcome. It does feel like, based on what we've watched in the first 45 minutes, it could be a game that's decided by one goal. There's not a load of quality out there. I think it's a game of football where both sides just they don't want to lose more than they want to win.
Yeah.
They know that they can't afford to concede. So yeah, it has been quite nervy, quite cagey, and quite a bit of an aggressive game. There's been a bit of feistiness to it, which has been enjoyable. Hopefully we get a bit more of that in the second half, and you think the intensity towards the end is going to have to pick up.
Yeah, I think it definitely will. I think that both sides will feel the effects of the game, and I think that as you get closer to extra time, you do get that more sense of, okay, let's try and go, let's go and try and win this now. I want to go and get the result across the line. But yeah, I think with these relegation playoffs, there's a side that or it can happen in other leagues that operate with the relegation playoff, is that the sides who are already in the lesser of the leagues, in Charlton's position, if it's a side who have snuck into the playoff on the final day, from not being in the top 3 all season, I think it would be a very different feeling as to what Charlton have got right now. I think that if you sneak in, you think, right, we weren't really in any promotion position, but we've got an opportunity. It's a bit of a free hit. But I think for Charlton today, because they were in the top 2 for so long this season, and they slipped out on the final day when it was in their own hands, I think there feels like the weight of the expectation and the fact they need to get promoted, I think it feels heavier. because of the fact that they will know in their minds that they should have been promoted weeks ago. So the fact they're in this position will hurt, and I think that does mean that they're more nervous about losing. Leicester, obviously, you completely understand because they're in the position they've got more to lose. But I think because of how long Charlton were in the promotion positions, I think losing today will feel like a massive, massive loss. And it feels like I think there's a lot more pressure on it than there can be in these kind of games, and that has shown massively in the first half there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how both sides approach this second half. Has either got a little bit more to give in the second 45. I think for Leicester, the big difference could be they can turn to their bench. They've got a little bit more quality to turn to. You think Naomi Mouchon could come on and just give them a different dynamic in attacking areas. The same for Rachel Williams, Van Egmond. I mean, feels like an obvious one to bring into midfield, right? Was a finalist with Australia in the Asian Cup only a few months ago, and yet can't start in this midfield. Feels a little bit strange, that one. But yeah, there's players that can come on, Goodwin, Payne, the likes, just come on and give them a different dimension then to their attack. Whereas you look at the Charlton bench, and they could call upon the experience of Thestrup, they could bring a bit of energy into midfield with Lockwood, but there isn't that same quality. So if it does come down to, if we are getting later into the game, that could be another element where you just think maybe let's edge it there. On that depth, on those options off the bench, it could come on and have an impact.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that Leicester have got more levels to go through, and that will be, if I was a Leicester City fan, that would be the encouraging aspect. Is that I think Charlton have played well, but I don't think they've got haven't got too many more gears to go through. This is somewhat near Charlton's top game. I think they could be a bit better, but I don't think they can get much better. Leicester City, with the quality off the bench and with the players on the pitch, we know they can raise it a couple more notches. And if they do that, I think they would just have too much for Charlton to handle. But it's a different, it's two different things, having the ability to do it and actually doing it. But if players like McLaughlin and players like Rantala get on the ball more and can find themselves some space and move it quicker, I think Charlton would struggle and Leicester would probably find an advantage at some point. But so yeah, I think Leicester have got more gears to go through now, but it doesn't mean that they're going to come out in the second half and find them. They may not raise their game, and then suddenly Charlton are going to continue to get opportunities to find the back of the net.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a fascinating second 45 minutes to determine who will be in the WSL next season. Hopefully players re-emerging from the tunnel shortly. And, the BBC have just started talking to a boxer, which is good fun.
Yeah, I don't know where this lady came from. Not quite sure what she's got to do with the WSL relegation playoff, but hey-ho. It is an interesting lineup. Amy Merricks as well.
I was going to say, I found that amusing. Obviously not beat Charlton to the league title, beat them on the final day, and then she just stood there by the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean,
can't imagine she's particularly popular in these parts.
I was going to say, that could have been the other way around. If Charlton had won, this could have been Amy Merricks managing Birmingham against Leicester, and Karen Hill stood there with a microphone. But yeah, I think both Birmingham and Crystal Palace are very happy they're not in this game. The weight's off their shoulders. They are promoted. I think Leicester City will actually be happy as well that neither of those two sides are in the playoff. I think especially in Birmingham's case. I think when we looked at it. We looked at the potential top three. I always thought that, especially after their FA Cup run, I thought that Birmingham would have been the most difficult challenge for Leicester. Yeah. So the fact that they managed to avoid them was a pretty good omen for Leicester City. But Charlton proving, of course, we know they're a very top side, and Leicester still haven't managed to find a way past them in that first 45 minutes. If Charlton don't if they don't start to put Leicester under more pressure going forwards, then you feel like the goal will eventually come for Rick Passmore's side. But I still think that they're shying away from it too much, Leicester. There's so much more to give out there, and I feel like they could go for it a bit more. But we know that's not really in Rick Passmore's DNA. It's rare. When else this season have they got into a game as the favourites to win it? And I think that's a position they're kind of struggling a bit to be in. They're not really sure what to do. They're having more of the ball than they would usually ever get. They're higher up the pitch than they usually ever are. So it is difficult as a team to adjust from being the side who sit really deep and under pressure every single week to being the side that are even, if not better, than your opposition.
I think it's easy to look at that first half and And I guess just look at the stats and think Leicester had chances, but outside of added time, they didn't really test the Charlton goalkeeper. Didn't really get forwards. They had that great opportunity right at the end of the half, and I think that has, I guess, skewed the how you view that first half a little bit. But I think, yeah, for most of it, Leicester just weren't incredible. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see if they can up their level in the second half. They've got the players, they've got players who have the quality to step up and make a real difference. The question is whether or not that's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that they'll be frustrated that they couldn't step up in the first half because they're given Charlton something to work with now. You feel that if Leicester were ahead at this point in the game, I think they'd fancy themselves just to see it through. But Charlton have done exactly what they need to do. Defended well, kept themselves in the game, and now they can look to springboard and platform off. But yeah, I think Rick passed me frustrated. Especially if someone like Jutta Rantala hasn't got 90 minutes in the tank. If she can't have an impact while she's on the pitch, it would feel like a wasted start, not a wasted start for her, but they'll be frustrated they didn't manage to use her attacking prowess while she was on the pitch.
Most of the players then returning to the field of play here at the Valley. Let us know as we prepare for the second half. Let us know in the live chat. Who do you think is going to win? Has your prediction changed at all from the start of the game? Poll in chat now, much more in Charlton's favour. 61% backing the WSL2 side to be promoted. 39% though think Leicester City will stay in the league next season. So keep voting on that as we get into the second half and let us know who do you think is going to win this game. Will Charlton find a way, or will Leicester City capitalise on what was a bit of a stronger showing in the last 5 minutes of the first half?
Yeah, it's such a different call. I mean, I think my prediction stays the same. I still think Leicester will edge it. Maybe not 2-1 now, maybe 1-0. I think that quality will shine through at some point, but maybe it won't. There's a very plausible chance that Charlton nick a goal or end up taking this to extra time. And as I always say, with knockout football, once you're into extra time penalties, it's anyone's guess as to what the score will turn out to be.
Yeah, some very brightly coloured Leicester City fans. I think they've got to find a way to get Rantala into this game more. They've been trying to force it into her in central areas, but it's easy enough for Charlton to swarm her and make life really difficult for Rantala, make it difficult for her to impact the game in a meaningful way. So, yeah, I think it's important they get Rantala in a position where she can impact the game a bit more. Charlton Athletic then to get us back underway in this second half. It's Gillian Kenny from the middle. Waiting for the referee's whistle. Emily Heaslip hasn't had loads to do in the first half. Seems to get everything right, though. And that was one of the biggest things there. We didn't want to see this game be dictated by any bizarre refereeing moments. We haven't as of yet. Ball not back by Kenny. And we're underway for another 45 minutes of action as Charlton Athletic take on Leicester City for a place in the WSL next season. Leicester coming forwards, though. Bradley around the corner, intercepted well by Kane. Kept alive, though, by Bradley, and Charlton back in possession. I think the first few minutes of the second half are so important because this is when the players are going to be the freshest. Yeah. They've just had 15 minutes in a cool, air-conditioned and much nicer environment. Now they've got to come back out and perform because very quickly that humidity and the heat is going to impact the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we could see an early moment. Charlton coming forwards, and here's Hutton. Can she find the cutback? Tries to turn, clips it across. Here's a chance for McAteer in the box. Can she twist and turn? Trying to get away from Mailing. Now to the edge of the box with Kenny. Laying it off to Fitzgerald, who can take on Asmita Rail, who has to be careful on a yellow card already. Fitzgerald goes to the outside. It's blocked by Ale and out for a Charlton corner.
Good start to the second half from Charlton. And I think McAteer will be very frustrated that she just couldn't get the ball down and unleash a shot. It was a lovely cross towards her from Hutton, but she couldn't work a shooting opportunity, but recycled well, and Fitzgerald doing the business, winning a corner. Positive, though, from the off from Charlton, exactly what they need to do. And I think, as I say, Karen Hales would have been paramount. Get out there quickly and get a shot on target. And they'll hope to do that from this corner.
So Hutton over this set piece, playing it in towards the front post, cleared away by Leicester at another corner. Now give Hutton a chance to put a better ball into the box.
Yeah, didn't get enough on it, but take two. It's always difficult. She had a couple, I think she's put too deep. And that one, though, coming up short. So can
You've
she?
got to get the height on it. There's so many Charlton players in that 6-yard box. If it's going short to the near post, Leicester are just going to clear it every time. You've got to get it on top of the goalkeeper, really. Better ball this time from Hutton. Headed goalwards, headed just wide. Not a bad opportunity that for Charlton. Lobato just couldn't quite nod that goalwards, but a better delivery from Mason. And well, should Lobato have hit the target with that?
It's a good ball in. I'm just trying. Yeah, it's behind her. It's a difficult one. It's behind her and she's under pressure, but she'll feel like she probably should have put it on the target, even if it was a comfortable catch for Keane. Probably should have found the target there.
Keane launching it forwards. And no one in Leicester should be able to get a touch on it as it bounces through them and out of play. Or a Charlton throw-in. No, look to go down the line. And this really has been a game of throw-ins. 27 throw-ins already in this match. Moya battling away. Here is Hutton, who tries to feed it through to Moya again. That's not going to come off as it runs through to Katie Keane.
Too many of those in this game for Charlton, where players have just played a through ball, hoping that the player they're looking for is going to get there. You know, without looking up or seeming to communicate. Just been a couple of punts forward or balls played through, and it's just like, I'm gonna play the ball through and hopefully you'll manage to telepathically tell what I'm gonna do. I'm not really sure.
Moya tries to play it through the lines, cut out well by Keys. T-Bow. It's a poor pass. Here is Kenny. McLaughlin makes the challenge. It's a bit clumsy between Kenny and McLaughlin. That will be a free kick for Leicester.
Yeah, just overruns it. Kenny puts herself into a crowded area, turned over well by McLaughlin, and then just the trailing leg of Kenny bringing down the Charlton midfielder. But yeah, just clumsy. Good start though to the second half for Charlton.
Tierney carrying the ball forwards. Cut out well by Moya. Tierney back inside. McLaughlin. Janssen plays it into Mailing. And it's one back well by Mason. Who's that come off there? I don't think anyone's particularly sure, but it will be a Leicester City throw-in. No, by Passmore's reaction, I thought they'd gone to Charlton, but no, will be a Leicester throw. Kenny losing out in there to McLaughlin, battling away though as Tierney holds on to possession. McAteer intercepts the pass and now looks to carry forward, gets away from McLaughlin. McLaughlin commits the foul, and that will be a free kick for Charlton.
Yeah, no complaints from McLaughlin around that one. McAteer brilliantly steps up, wins the ball back, and as she's bursting away down the left-hand side, McLaughlin sticks a leg in, gets it wrong, and will become the third player into the book this afternoon. Just timed it wrong there, did Olivia McLaughlin. Positive again, though, from Charlton and from McAteer on the front foot. And one that has another set piece.
Indeed. So, Mason now. Looking to put the ball into the box. Head away. And that will bounce to Fitzgerald. Shot from range, and that's not a million miles away. From Ellie Mason. Katie Keane did give us something to think about for a second there.
Yeah, Fitzgerald as well, just puts the ball in the box. Header down from Ale, falls to Mason, who, wasn't a million miles away. Probably wasn't the right decision to chest and volley the ball from about 30 yards out. But if it goes in, it's the best goal of the season.
Yeah. Keane now. Launching the ball forwards. Moya can't quite win the header against Ale. Fitzgerald now. Plays it into Moya. Tries to go down the line. It's blocked by McLaughlin, out for a throw. Fitzgerald looking down the line. And now coming forwards, Charlton, ball into the area and a good claim from Katie Keane.
Yeah, I just find it incredible how Everton are still deploying taking time out of the game, run the clock down like they have done all season. They're meant to be kind of this favourite side, and you see Charlton turn the ball back over in an position, and they want to get it moving quickly. But Keane, they're just happy to pick the ball up and stand there for a bit.
Yeah, there's a lack of urgency, isn't there, about this Leicester City performance? And they are now preparing subs, and it's Van Egmond, Rachel Williams, and Ash Neville. That's a lot of experience to come on. Keys does well to win back possession and then clips it out of play.
I like that from Passmore. Not been good enough.
No.
They just haven't reacted. And a triple change should help. That problem is, though, I don't.
Yeah, which of those three comes on and scores the goal?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think the problems are personnel anyway. I don't think Jutta Rantala's the reason that Leicester haven't scored today. Perhaps the fact they're still playing a 5-back.
I just think you have to go for this game a little bit more, and you need someone up there that's going to be a bit lively.
Yeah.
I don't know what Rachel Williams gives you in an attacking sense that Kane or O'Brien don't. She's good at holding the ball up, but why are you in a position where, against aside from the league below, you're having to pump it long and try and hold the ball up?
Yeah. They'll be like for like. Absolutely be like for like.
From Tierney forwards, I know how to find a teammate, and it's knocked into the Leicester dugout.
And this 53 minutes has summed up exactly why Leicester are in this game in the first place.
They're not good enough.
Yeah, that is the bottom line of it. But just the fun, Rick Passmore not being good enough, and then not changing things when things have gone wrong. There's a reason they haven't picked up a single point this season. A single point this year, sorry.
I mean, it's not been a good season, but 9 points is still a hell of a lot better than none.
That is true. But yeah, because you'd think after going on a bit of a losing run, you might try something different, but he hasn't. And they're just continuing to struggle. Maybe this triple change is going to come on and, I don't know, change the game.
So, Hannah Kane making way for Rachel Williams. As Mutare departs to be replaced by Ash Neville, and Jutta Rantala, understandably, can't quite make it to the hour mark for Emily Van Egmond.
Like for like across the board.
They've made them more defensive in all three of those changes.
Yeah,
they've become a more defensive team.
It's as if they're playing for penalties. They're the side in the WSL.
I know.
It's incredible.
You wouldn't believe it, would you?
I think Karen Hills and Charlton, we think there's a great chance here. I wouldn't look at those changes and go, well, hang on a minute, they're really going to turn up the wick now.
Yeah.
Charlton have got to keep this momentum going. First 10 minutes of second half, it's been all them. We've got to keep that momentum up.
Indeed. Charlton coming forwards. Mason floats it in there. It's nodded away by T-Bow. There's a claim in there for Charlton for a penalty. Nothing going to be given though. Lobato on the deck, but it will be a Charlton corner. A chance to put more pressure on this Leicester back. Let's have another look at this then. No, nothing too wrong with that from T-Bow. Just contest the header.
Yeah. Both jumping.
Yeah,
not
wrong
at
with
all.
that.
Good header. Very good defensive header from TMO under pressure, but it's another Charlton corner, and the momentum is just sticking with them at the moment. This is different. First half, it was ebbing and flowing every couple of minutes, but this first 11 minutes has been very much all one way Charlton.
Yeah, absolutely. Corner now for Charlton. Heaslip going over to tell Bradley to hurry up. Just put the ball down. Just trying to scuff up the turf there to make it a bit easier to put the ball down. Finally has a spot. Bradley. Delivery after all of that. Doesn't get the delivery right. It's into the side netting.
You can't stand there making a divot with your heel and taking your time over the perfect placement just to put the ball into the side netting.
I've never seen anyone not do that though. When they
yeah,
it always seems to happen. You spend ages preparing the ball and the delivery's awful.
Just stick it in the circle and smash it in. It's all because they're trying to steal every inch. She's trying to put it just at, a tiny bit on the line, but that bit's bobbly because that bit's not within the semicircle.
Tierney there. No, a foul, sorry, from Gillian Kenny. So it will be a Leicester free kick.
Problem is that Charlton are on top, but they still haven't put a shot on target, and that is the biggest problem. They can have all this momentum, but they've got to start testing Katie Keane.
Yeah, simply put, they have to. Phil, welcome to the stream this afternoon. All afternoon, Phil. Good to see you. It has been a cagey affair here at the Valley so far. Almost an hour played here. Still remains 0-0. Chances at both ends. So the second half, it has been Charlton in the ascendancy for all of it. Still, though, as Harry says, not seeing a shot on target for Charlton. The only Leicester City shots on target came in the first half. Leicester haven't had a shot in this second half. Van Egmond holds the ball up well. Tierney. Now T-Val. Cut out well by Gillian Kenny. And now Moya. Go back to Fitzgerald. Charlton can look to progress. Fitzgerald wants to take on Neville. Neville does well there just to see her out of play. And a bit of a nudge there after the fact from Ash Neville, which disgruntles some of the Charlton players, but it will be a Leicester throw.
Yeah, not really sure where Fitzgerald was going there. Put herself to the touchline, kind of boxed herself in, really.
Nigel says this reeks of going to penalties. Just don't see where a goal will come from for either side. Does feel a bit that way, yeah. Flicked on by Rachel Williams. Looking for O'Brien, who's going to get around there, and it's poked out of play by Fitzgerald. Corner now for Leicester City.
Again, Shannon O'Brien doing what she's done all season. Feeding off scraps, senses a half chance as Fitzgerald just tries to see it out of play, gets round her. And eventually the defender does put it out, but it's a positive from O'Brien, who, again, has had nothing to work with today, yet has still managed to get a shot on target and look pretty positive.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of how how we saw this game going. Leicester City scored only 11 goals in the league this season. That's half a goal a game. No, yeah, half a goal a game or a goal every other game. Ball into the area. And it's cleared away. And Moya now will look to carry it away. And she's pulled down in there by Emma Janssen, who will pick up a yellow card for that challenge. I thought for a moment that was Olivia McLaughlin and she was about to walk. But it's Emma Janssen who picks up the yellow card.
I saw the orange boots and I thought that McLaughlin was in a bit of trouble, but Janssen, I mean, it's, clear. There's been too many of those. Leicester shouldn't be deciding the position, having to, commit tactical fouls to stop Charlton progressing. That's their third yellow card of the afternoon. And all three of them have been stopping promising attacks.
Moya. Sent forwards by Fitzgerald. Bissell battles away. T-Bow now. Trying to win the ball off her and does well there, using her body. Forcing Bissell into the mistake, and Neville has a throw in deep in her own corner. Well, not happy with the Linos' positioning, going to force him off the pitch. There is O'Brien losing out in there. Moya battling to win it back, but O'Brien does well to get back and make the challenge. It's come out of play for a Leicester throw.
Yeah, brilliant from O'Brien. Just dogged, working away. Gets pulled back by Moya, then gets another nibble, and then gets nudged away by Kenny, and just does well to bring it up and win the throw.
Indeed. Here's T-Bow. Keys. Lifts it to the right-hand side. Van Egmond. Now to Tierney. Lovely play off of O'Brien. Out to Neville on the left-hand side. He'll swing it in there and it's cleared away. Make a bit of distance on that clearance from Skills.
Yeah. Better reaction from Leicester. Triple change has just offered a bit of energy, I think. Not an increase in quality, I wouldn't say, but energy, mainly because they haven't been running around in the heat for 60 minutes. But they need to take advantage before that effect kind of wears off.
I mean, surely
Ooh.
Surely Charlton looks their bench soon.
Yeah.
Phil says, big fan of McLaughlin. She looks like a real talent. Yeah, I think whichever mid-table side gets McLaughlin next season's got a very good player there. It's the kind of player I think Tottenham could do. They need a midfielder.
Yeah.
But, a Brighton, an Aston Villa, or a London City, but that's not the kind of sign they'll make. All cleared long, and it gives something here for Hutton to give chase to, and Hutton's going to get there. But Leicester are getting back in. Charlton getting forwards now. Hutton needs some support. She's very much isolated. And out for a Charlton throw-in.
Does well to get a throw there, Hutton, because you could just see as the picture stopped, all these blue shirts flooding back, and not a single red one was in the frame with Hutton there, who's done well to win her side of throw. I can imagine probably got there and was a bit knackered.
And then turns around and
there's not
no one. Fitzgerald arrives at long last when the throw-in gets awarded. Mason now thrown into the area. Hutton can't quite get the flick on, and it's going to be won back by Mailing and launched forwards. And a play though for a Charlton throw. Of course, as Charlton looking tired, nobody close to joining that counter. No, they are not getting... I mean, the whole game's not really had the intensity. I think, again, the heat having a huge impact there. Slightly worried. I mean, hopefully Oslo's not boiling. But
I think it'll be all right.
Yeah, probably.
Something tells me that Oslo might be okay.
Mailing. But yeah, just have an impact on this game today. Karen says, I'm liking my Moya. Yeah, Karen Moya. Player we've had the pleasure of interviewing. Came through the Chelsea Academy. Was playing for London City a few years ago. Before she moved to Brighton. To Charlton, sorry.
That's a big change. Big change coming for Charlton.
Yeah. Looks like Emily Thestrup preparing to enter the fray.
And that's what I call a game-changing sub. Not Ash Neville and Rachel Williams.
Here is Janssen. Now Mailing. Blocked well by McAteer and out for another Leicester throw.
Yeah, defensive contribution today from the Charlton attackers has been very strong. And it's needed to be at times. But I think both, all three of McAteer, Bissell and
Van Egmond into Mailing. Lifts it into the area. It's nodded on. It bounces through. Fitzgerald able to knock it away. And that's out for a Leicester City corner.
Yeah, again, lovely give and go between Mailing and Van Egmond. And it's O'Brien again, she's lively in the box. Challenges for the header. Doesn't get enough contact on it. And Fitzgerald puts it behind. But if Leicester are going to get a goal, it's going to be O'Brien. Just looks the most confident, most lively any time the ball gets in or around her.
Tierney over this. Heaslip's not happy with something here. And it's the jostling between Van Egmond and Bissell.
I mean, the fact they're both in the goal will tell you they're not doing what they should be doing.
Yeah, you're not going to score from there. Corner now. McLaughlin will go short. Delivered into the area though on top of the goalkeeper. Great claim from Whitehouse. And it's going to be a Charlton free kick. And I think Whitehouse was just caught in there. I'm not sure that was by a Leicester player though. I think it might have been a Charlton player.
There's all sorts going on there. There was a Leicester player on the floor. It was O'Brien who threw herself on the floor. Whitehouse came to get it, and then it was Williams who went tumbling over the sideboards.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Absolute carnage from that corner. And I don't think there was a foul in any of them involved.
Just barrels there, actually, towards the back post.
You can just see it at the back of the frame. Go flying across.
Over the sideboard. Emily Thestrup then for Charlton Athletic. This could be the game-changing substitution. Former WSL player, of course, Emily Thestrup.
Leicester made their roll the dice for the triple change. This is Charlton's.
Bissell making way. Thestrup entering the fray.
I think they might have also thrown the second drinks break into this. Yes, they have.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
yeah, 24 minutes then. I guess the same question. Who's Who's going to find a way,
Oh.
or are we headed into extra time?
I'll be honest, I have no idea. I just, Charlton had a really good 10, 15 minute spell out of half time, but Leicester's triple change has just seemed to wrangle them back a bit of control. And to be honest, it's now anyone's game. Yeah, I can see either side nicking a goal here. And I think it would be nick. I think nick is the right verb to use. If either side to find a goal,
Both deserve to lose.
no. I think if either side are going to get a goal, they're going to nick it.
Yeah.
I think it is a difficult one because I wouldn't say that both sides deserve to lose, but
Neither side deserves to win.
yeah. And I mean, it would be horrible, a horrible way to decide next season's fate would be a penalty shootout. No one wants that.
Yeah.
You don't want to see this game tied by penalties.
Particularly not if you're sat in a very warm studio and you've got another stream to do this afternoon. Particularly not in that
I have to
case.
say, while we're at the drinks break, I do not like the Leicester coaching staff shirts. Just the white. It's a white shirt with a massive blue Addicks logo in the middle,
I'm a big fan of the Charlton
and
ones
it just says the Foxes.
Like the Charlton ones are black and grey with a yellow Charlton
But at
badge.
least they've got the initials and the Charlton badge on it. The Leicester
Yeah.
one's just a white shirt with the Foxes written on it and
Yeah, I
a
did
massive Addicks
I did
badge.
see that with Parsimore, but yeah.
It looks like he's teaching PE, not coaching a WFC relegation playoff. Yeah, Theshut's the big change then. If Charlton can get her in the game, she could make the difference.
Whitehouse then, with the ball in her gloves. As Charlton will look to go forwards. She'll drop it again. And waits for the pressure of O'Brien before launching the ball to the right-hand side. Moya's going to bring it under her control. Battling away, though Neville wins it back. It's a lovely little flick from Neville, McLaughlin, Van Egmond. Tierney now looking to switch the play. It's one back in there by Mason. Keys wins the header and it's McLaughlin who heads it down to Tierney. Thestrup getting back in and McAteer will make the tackle. Thestrup, though, I think deemed to have pulled back Tierney there. I don't think there was too much wrong with that.
Get a look here. Just gets a bit.
It's a little hand on the shirt. I don't think it changes.
No.
Doesn't pull Tierney back at all. But
Tierney was waiting for it. She had her arms in the air appealing before she'd been touched.
Van Egmond. Now McLaughlin. Out to the right hand side with Mailing. McAteer does well to stand her up initially, but Mailing gets past her. And now, lovely feet from McLaughlin, Van Egmond into Mailing. And that's blocked away by McAteer and out for a corner.
Yeah, again, tidy football. We're starting to see some link-up play from Leicester. It's between Van Egmond and McLaughlin. And that could make the difference if those two can keep finding each other in and around the penalty area. But another good block there from McAteer getting back in. But it is just starting to come together for Leicester City, you feel. And McLaughlin's got someone to play with. And that is just... The pace has increased a little bit.
Corner now. For Leicester towards the edge of the box. Neville brings it down, tries to send it towards goal, and it's cleared away. Moya now could capitalise, and she does get the ball off Janssen. Karen Moya trying to get away. Brilliant tackle, Janssen. But Moya wins it back, and she brought down there by Mailing. Not in the opinion of referee Emily Heaslip.
Charlton bench not happy. The first challenge, though, had to be inch perfect from Janssen. If not, she was gone. And then the second one, I think the second one was just a collision, really, with Moya on the far side.
Van Egmond. Lovely turn there to get away from Karen Moya. Now Neville. Slipped forwards for O'Brien. Does well there to get around the defender. And it's headed away well by Lobato. Tierney. Passed on to McLaughlin. And hooked into the area. It bounces through. Neville tries to make a lunge for it at the back post. She's claimed she was fouled in there. I don't think there's anything in that. And Charlton will come forward down the right-hand side. Fitzgerald, Neville making the challenge. A bit clumsy there between Neville and Fitzgerald. Neville's not happy at all with Emily Heaslip.
You can't lunge and throw yourself at a football, and then when you fall on the floor, appeal for a penalty. We'll get a better look here, but no.
There's not enough in it, but Moya does.
Moya holds her before, but then Neville throws himself at the ball
Yeah.
to try and get it, misses it, and then goes, "Oh no, I was fouled."
Just got to be careful there, Karen Moya.
Yeah. There was a hold, but there wasn't a pull or anything.
Yeah.
I have to say, I don't see us getting a goal in the next 18 minutes. I don't think Charlton still haven't had a shot on target.
Neville heads away well. As it falls down for McLaughlin. No, they have not.
And Leicester have had a shot by now, haven't they, in the second half?
Yeah, 2 shots for Leicester. In the second 45, no one's had a shot on target in the second half, though. Tierney. Trying to find the pass inside. One back and cleared away by Skills. And now McAteer. Slipping it through. Hudson giving up on that one quite early. Here's Keane. Yeah, Kevin said Charlton were hoping for another drinks break bounce. That hasn't really materialised. Here is McAteer again. Good. From Janssen. Was she too high there, though? Well, a bit aggressive. He's already on a yellow card, and the Charlton fans are adamant that she should have received another yellow card for that one, but doesn't.
Yeah, I think it's just given on motion rather than on contact. I don't think there's that much in it, but it's still just comes. She starts high and comes down.
I don't know how much. Yeah, I don't know how much contact she actually makes with the player. I think she gets the ball. To be fair, that's a little bit harsh.
Yeah, as I say, I think it's more the motion. You can't. You run the risk. Kind of coming down with that stamping action. I know she's trying to stand on the ball, but. The risky one. If she made contact, she was absolutely gone. Sat as a second yellow and early bath. Charlton free kick though, and they've seen some decent deliveries from Hutton.
Delivery in towards the edge of the box. Kenny now to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald launched it back in there. It's nodded through. Cleared away by Mayling. And this is something, an opportunity. And McLaughlin bursting forwards. Has support with O'Brien and Williams. Squeeze it across. Rachel Williams now. The touch is heavy. Tries to get around the defender. And got to do better there, Rachel Williams.
Yeah. It was all slowed down too much initially by McLaughlin, who I think just got. We watched back here. I think did she get the ball caught under her feet? Yeah, she ended up standing on the ball. And it ruined her momentum. She had to turn back, and the pass to Williams was okay, but just tries to burst round the centre half there, and it allows Kenny to get back in and win it. Wasted chance there for Leicester on the break, who really should have punished Charlton, who were caught out the pitch.
Yeah, and if they've had all of the ball in the second half, Leicester City 70% possession in this second half. It was only 55-45 in the first, 70-30 in Leicester's favour in the second.
I mean, how do you have 70% of the football and not have a shot on target?
Yeah.
That is not good enough. It's the reason this game's levels, because neither side have been particularly good enough to win the game yet.
No. Actually, I'm sorry, but both these teams aren't good enough. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? If Charlton come up, you'd like to think they'll invest. We've seen Leicester in the league this season just don't have any money. The fact the men's team are going down to League One is only going to make things harder. Bit of a travesty what has happened to Leicester City Football Club. And impacting pretty much every team. Leicester women's no different. Now we're trying to come forwards, caught by Karen Moyer. That will be a yellow card for Moyer and a free kick for Leicester City. Yeah,
I think that's been coming for Moyer. Has had a couple of nibbles throughout this game, and that one, the final straw, as Neville's bursting forward and just takes the legs out.
Doesn't seem a big fan of Ash Neville.
No.
Karen Moyer. Couple of challenges like that. Quarter of an hour to go then. Can either side find a way to win this game?
we're getting into that time in these kind of matches where we're talking about players stepping up. You know, tactics just starts to go out the window a little bit, and especially on some extra time. But individual quality makes a difference now. Can someone step up in a red or blue shirt and deliver?
Tierney floats it in there, bounces through and nodded away. And the ball clipped up the line. Mitchell Williams will get across and makes the tackle. T-Bow lifting it forwards, cleared away into no man's land. Tierney lifting it into Ash Neville. Now Tierney. Falls again for Neville. Tierney. Now McLaughlin. Out to Mailing. Back towards McLaughlin, who's going to get there. Is she brought down there by Kenny? It's a fair challenge from Gillian Kenny. But her clearance is only as far as Sarah Mailing. Out for a throw-in for Leicester. And the Leicester supporters there jeered on. As one of the goalkeeper showed, it's particularly aggressive in his support, as the Leicester supporters want to see them make something happen here.
Yeah, a bit of afters there between McLaughlin and Kenny. So I don't think McLaughlin's got anything really to be frustrated about. I think she's looking for it a bit. And then, they jostle between the two of them. And just as this ball goes out of play, there's a little bit of afters between the two of them, getting a bit feisty.
It is hotting up.
Yes.
If it wasn't hot enough, it is hotting up here at the Valley. Changes coming for Charlton, and that is Katie Lockwood. And I didn't quite see the other change there. They'd already run onto the field.
Ross, I think it is.
Yeah, the defender. Midfielder, I think. Mia Ross and Katie Lockwood for Karen Moyer. And who else is departing the field? Find out in a moment. It's going to be McAteer. So, interesting changes. That is 2 wingers off for 2 central midfielders, I think.
Yeah, looks like they're going to...
Well, it looks like for like, to be fair.
Makes sense. You do, just want to change it. I think, they've worked very hard, Moyer and McAteer today, but they're going to tie up. Massive, massive final 10 minutes here.
Fitzgerald driving forwards, takes on Neville and beats her too easily, really. Neville gets back in as Fitzgerald keeps carrying forwards. She's stuck in this corner now. Fitzgerald tries at the deck as Neville caught her. Apparently so. Neville's not happy at all. You can hear her saying that's not a foul. No, thanks, the referee. That it wasn't given as a foul, by the sounds of it. Seemed to poke it out of play. Fitzgerald. Acts like she was caught there.
I'm very confused.
It's just a throw-in
for
Charlton. Fitzgerald. One back in there by Tierney. He's going to look to play it over the top into O'Brien. He's not going to get there. I can't believe Naomi Mouchon sat on the bench.
It's incredible.
Just can't believe they brought on Rachel Williams rather than Naomi Mouchon. 10 minutes left then of normal time. Has anyone got a goal to go and seize this game? Ball over the top. Looking then for Lockwood, who's going to get there. Mailing, no recovering. Wins back possession, and Keane now launching the ball forwards. Here is O'Brien. Slips it into Williams. Tierney. Janssen. Out to the right-hand side with Mailing. Now McLaughlin. Van Egmond back towards McLaughlin. And it's cleared away well. Keys. McLaughlin. Good battle between Mailing and Lockwood. And that's come off Lockwood. Mailing takes the throw in quickly. Van Egmond in the box. Plays it across. Head away by Skeels. And Sam Tierney intervenes well, takes aim from range, and wide of the mark there from Tierney. Got to do better from that kind of position.
Yeah, snatches at it, and I think that's what both sides are feeling at the moment. There's a sense of needing to move it quickly, but I think both sides are rushing it at times a little bit. And just snatching at the volley was Tierney. Needs to be a little bit calmer there and just make better contact with it. But yeah, just it's difficult. It is hard at these moments to find that balance between not rushing it but needing to move it quickly.
Ball sent over the top and headed away by Keys. He just looks to be struggling a little bit there. Sorry, Keys, and does now go down. I think it is the ankle, based on the way that she's gone down there. She was moving quite gingerly. It just looks like she's planted her foot there. A bit of discomfort in her ankle. Sorry, Keys.
Not ideal from a Leicester point of view. Last thing you're going to be doing with 7 minutes to go in a 0-0 draw is changing one of your centre halves. Yeah, Swaby's going to come on then.
Yeah, and Leicester City fans, so they're dressed in all sorts.
As I say, some wonderful costumes.
I feel for the person in a full superhero outfit. I cannot imagine wearing that today. And yeah, quite a vibrant support. Phil says this is the one game where they really need Lehmann to be the difference maker. Yeah, typically Alicia Lehmann out injured for this one, and it's Swaby that will come on then, as you say. Both sets of players using this as a de facto drinks break. They are just struggling out there now.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's a really weird mix of the tempo is slowing because players are tiring, but it's also increasing because we're getting towards the end of a one-off knockout game.
Yeah,
very hard to find the middle ground. Lots of conversation being had between Rick Passmore and his coaches, and I'll be very interested to see what they're coming up with.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 4 of them around. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they're telling her.
If anything, with only 6 minutes to go, you don't want to overload your new subs with instructions. You just want to, especially with a centre half, you're just thinking, go on there, do your job, do your role.
Well, so he sat back down.
Oh. That's interesting. I mean, to me, Keys looked done.
And Rantala's got ice on her knee, so perhaps not explaining her early substitution. Obviously, just back from injury. Does appear to be struggling, or at least managing. So is Keys going to try and continue here?
Looks to be.
Well, it's going to leave Leicester City short a player, which isn't an ideal situation to be in. Fitzgerald. Kenny. And that's lost in there. It's a good challenge. Dispossessed Ross. O'Brien switches the play. Here's Van Egmond. And launched by Janssen. Lovato heads it away. Kenny. Into Fitzgerald. Into midfield now. And Ross is going to look to lift it over the top. T-Bell does well. Here's McLaughlin. Tierney. Plays it into Williams. Pass around the corner as it's lifted into the box, and O'Brien should connect better with that one.
Yeah, left unmarked. Bit of a tight angle, but should really do better on the volley. Should be disappointed with that one. As I say, I mentioned at the start, it's the kind of player that can take chances when from nothing. Doesn't connect with that one at all, slicing it up into the air, and Charlton could clear it pretty easily.
Keys down again here. And so you will think that now they'll bring Chantal Swaby on, and you think, why didn't they just do this a minute ago?
Yeah, that feels quite pointless, but...
Is that another change as well for Leicester City then? It looked like Rosella Ayane. We haven't seen much in Leicester City yet.
It'd be intriguing to see if they turn to Ayane before they turn to the likes of Missy Goodwin.
Or Naomi Mouchon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like I'm hitting my head against a wall. Why is Naomi Mouchon on the bench?
87 minutes into the biggest game of their season, Naomi Mouchon's just sat there watching.
Yeah. Well, Chantal Swavey on then. That will be their only change, I believe. And the superhero is up. 2 o'clock.
He must be boiling.
Yeah, he must be a puddle under that.
It's not even like he's turned up in it and taken it off. He's kept it on for the whole game.
Yeah, Phil echoing my sentiment says, I bet Banana Man has serious sweat on. Yeah. Must be roasting in that suit.
Yeah.
Well, Charlton building out from the back. Can anyone find a goal in the final 3 minutes? What's additional time of this game? Or are we going into an additional 30-minute period? Tierney into Janssen. Janssen trying to play forwards. Does find Ash Neville. Inside now to Van Egmond. Janssen. McLaughlin. Here's Mailing. Carries it forwards well. Now shifts to Van Egmond. Takes aim from range. Good stop from Whitehouse. Got across her goal well. I thought she made contact with that. Made the save, but apparently not.
It looked like she just tipped it around the post. Good, better though from Leicester. Van Egmond just has a go. Why not?
Oh, no, potentially doesn't. Just wide from Van Egmond. I mean, you've got to ask why she didn't start.
Yeah.
Emily Van Egmond.
I'd just like to see a shot on target, personally.
It's a Charlton throw-in on this near side.
Expecting pretty lengthy additional time. Obviously, we had the drinks break. Keys went down twice. We've had substitutions.
I think it'll be about 6-7 minutes.
Yeah. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Dorsell didn't add anything on. They got another half an hour.
Swavey pokes it out of play. It will be a Charlton throw-in. High on this near side. Fitzgerald. Takes throw short. Exchanging on this right-hand side. Doesn't come to anything, though. And now Leicester City looking to break. Neville. A pass inside. As Van Egmond's forced backwards. Leicester move it across the back line. Here's Tierney. And we've got 8 minutes of additional time at the end of this game.
Oof.
So a little even longer than I thought it would be. Fitzgerald into Gillian Kenny. Kenny will float it. And well over by Kenny.
Sums up Charlton's day. Just lacked quality in the final third. Defended well, lacked quality in the final. I mean, both sides have lacked quality in the final third. But I mean, I wasn't surprised in Leicester's case. They've lacked quality in the final third all season. But it shone through today.
Yeah. Phil says motion on the bench is wild when Leicester is so clearly lacking good movement up top. Well, exactly. You think Charlton have played a decently high line today. You just need someone that's a bit lively up there.
Yeah.
And they've had 1 or 2 moments where they've broken in behind, and they've got no one that's going to run in behind and wants to carry the ball forwards.
Yeah.
Antonio Marcus Lehman on the bench. No, Alicia Lehman is injured and missing this game. Again, you think that could have been a big difference maker, Lehman. As Phil said earlier. Williams into O'Brien. Lovely turn from Shannon O'Brien. It's one back well in there by Thestra. And now to Lockwood. And Lockwood tries to poke it forwards. One back though by Emma Janssen. McLaughlin. And T-Bow finds Ash Neville, who will float it in towards the back post, and Williams won't quite get there. Kept alive now, though, at the back stick, but back into the box. Well, O'Brien won't get there either. Van Egmond battling away in the penalty area, but Fitzgerald does well to hold on to it. And will carry it now into midfield. Neville makes the tackle. Leicester perhaps seeing an opportunity right at the end of this game. Williams. Into Tierney. Across to T-Bow now. It's blocked by Kenny. Van Egmond trying to poke it forwards. Cleared away well. Now it's Janssen. McLaughlin. Lifts it into the area. Neville headed on target. It's a big save. First shot on target at the half. Whitehouse gets down to it well, and a big start from the Charlton keeper.
Yeah, huge. Difficult as a goalkeeper when you've not had anything to do for a whole half to then being called into action. But Whitehouse does well to get down to Neville's header and keep it within her grasp. After a long time coming in this second half, but better from Leicester towards the end of this game.
O'Brien carries inside, clipping it forwards, and just too much on that from Shannon O'Brien. Don't mind the idea, though.
Yeah, not bad. Just trying to dink it in the direction of Mailing at the far post, but just too much on it. Still 5 minutes to go. A lot can happen in 5 minutes. Neville did well. Not sure he's done much more. Rose highest, made good contact with it. Whitehouse, though, seeing it all the way.
Yeah. Whitehouse launching it forwards. Launching out of play. It does feel like Charlton have given everything they've got. There is going to be a goal before we head into extra time. It's going to be for Leicester City.
Yeah.
Mailing. Changes with Tierney. Now T-Bow. Here's Van Egmond. Janssen lifts it in there. And, well, McLaughlin getting a touch on it as it bounces its way through to Whitehouse.
Yeah, Charlton happy to take time out of the game now. They're in no rush to get this going, sensing they're on the side under pressure. They're probably the side that will be most happy to take this to extra time now.
And Sophie Whitehouse dribbling it out of her goal. And it's going to look to go long. Have Charlton got one last attack in them in this 3 minutes? It doesn't appear so. Here's Mailing. Into McLaughlin. Tries to touch it on. Mason does well to stand her up. It's McLaughlin fouled in there. It's deemed that she wasn't. Here comes Charlton. Mason. Carrying it forwards. Knocked down the line. Battling away in there. Hutton is fouled. It's a free kick in a great position, this. For Charlton Athletic.
Really good from Hutton, who is absolutely done. She has got nothing left in the tank, but beats Swavey to it and just gets in front of her. And it's really
smart.
Really clumsy from Swavey, but yeah, smart from Hutton.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, well, 2 minutes to go. This is a great chance for Charlton to put Leicester under pressure.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a great position. They've got to use this.
Yeah.
They've got to use this now, Charlton. Ball delivered in. It's a terrible delivery, really. Ellie Mason puts too much on it, and that's out for a goal kick. Gotta be. You're not going to get a better chance than that in this moment of the game. And just punts it over the bar.
It's an outswinger as well. As an outswinger, you should never be anywhere near kicking it off the pitch. It's meant
just look to deliver it flat, didn't you?
Yeah.
Someone could come on and head it, but Yeah. Got to be better. Keane sends it long. Williams holds it up. Header one in there. As Charlton come down the left-hand side, McLaughlin makes the challenge, clipped up the line well by Janssen, but it's had a play. That'll be a Charlton throw-in. And substitution for Charlton right at the death here then. You've got to think this may be more with extra time in mind. Or, well, are they pushing hell for leather? Hutton making way, makes sense.
Yeah.
She looks knackered. And it's Carla Humphrey on. Into the forward line. Swaby. Keane knocking it directly up in the air. Humphrey now. Trying to find Lockwood. One back well by Janssen. Blocked by Humphrey. Now Janssen to Swaby. Cut out well. Charlton trying to come forwards. Is that a foul in there? It's given us a free kick against Charlton after a handball in there. And that is the full-time whistle here at the Valley. It's Charlton 0, Leicester City 0. And we've got another 30 minutes of football here at the Valley to decide which of these sides will be in the WSL next season. It's not been a vintage game, has it? By any stretch of the imagination. Both sides have been rather poor in attacking areas. And so another 30 minutes await in this game. Can either side find a way to break the deadlock in that period?
We'll hope so, but I mean the performance in front of goal would suggest potentially not. But yeah, it's all to play for now, nothing to lose. And as I always say, in these extra half an hour, the tactics goes out the window a little bit. It's up to players now to step up. How much have they got left in the tank? Can those players that have only been on the pitch for half an hour, who have just come on, can they be the ones to step up and make the difference? But yeah, it's a big ask now for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to just keep going with players trying to get into the shade as much as possible, wrapping towels around their necks. That's definitely had an impact. The conditions and the heat definitely had an impact on the quality of football today. But yeah, I guess it's just which team can't with the moment. I just think both have had chances that they haven't done enough with. Both had set piece in good positions they've not quite nailed. And yeah, I mean, Charlton with a great chance there in the additional period, right at the end of the game, and they just couldn't make it work. And yeah, that's been the case really, attacking areas for both sides throughout this game. 5 shots to 13, 0 on target to 3. Leicester started to come forward with a bit more quality towards the end, but not enough from either side really.
Exactly that. I mean, we had to wait until the 95th minute to get a shot on target in the second half. That is not good enough from either side, and that's exactly why it's been 0-0. As I said, a few moments ago, neither side have played well enough to win the game yet, and it'll either stay that way until penalties, or one of these two sides is going to step up and deliver, and we'll have to wait and see what happens over the next half an hour. But yeah, not good enough really from either side in that second half. Half chances for both sides. I think Charlton will be most frustrated the fact they haven't put a single shot on target. But yeah, both sides have found things difficult out there, and they've struggled to really get anything going.
Yeah, I think Leicester just look fitter. Could be a big impact towards the end of this game. I think when we saw Charlton trying to come forwards there, and players just look absolutely done. And I think, I mean, look at that Ellie Mason delivery. It just looks like a player who's just done. And I think Leicester look fitter, and I think that will probably have an impact in this extra time period.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that it's we've got to compare this now to a bit like an FA Cup tie, where usually if the smaller side have forced the bigger team into extra time, that's usually where the better quality side come through. But equally, Leicester's I think Leicester's fitness and quality may shine through, but they haven't showed it in the first 90 minutes. So, and it has been pretty even. It's a lot tighter than a usual underdog cup tie. But I think, as you say, this is usually where we see the better sides come to life in the extra time period when the side in Charlton, who are in the lower division, just start to fade away a little bit.
Nigel says Leicester still haven't won away in 2 years. That is not a great statistic. They still haven't won in 2026. Which,
It's ridiculous.
yeah. It's the first time after 90 minutes where they haven't been losing.
That is true. That is true.
Progress.
But you can tell it's a side that haven't won this year. But has Rick Passmore changed anything from what he did in the first game in January? No. They just keep doing the same things and expecting different results. Especially today. I thought they might have done something different today, but yeah, definitely not the case.
And Shaman does welcome to the stream. Says, were you expecting this type of game? Yeah, I thought we'd see a goal. I didn't think it would be known. I thought someone would find a way. But we knew it'd be cagey and tight and that neither side would want to lose it. But it's just been particularly poor in attacking areas.
Yeah, it was agreed. I thought we'd see a bit more quality in the final third. Because although, especially in Leicester's case, although they've struggled in front of goal this season, they've still got some decent players. And up against the defence from the WSL2, I thought that had shined through, but that has not transpired.
That was a bit of a different team handle there from Charlton. Looked like a big deep breath and then a bit of a shout rather than the usual sort of 1, 2, 3, go Charlton.
Yeah, go Charlton. But I'm very intrigued to see how this extra time period plays out. I think that sometimes we see extra time be very tight, sometimes we see it be completely open. After that 90 minutes, I have no idea.
Yeah, I think the game's got to open up eventually. I think, considering these players are struggling to run out there, it's got to open up. The players that have come off the bench have got to start to have an impact.
Yeah.
Just don't think we've seen enough of that yet. Shamdale says, without their fans player of the season, Alicia Lehman. Yeah. That was a bit of a... I feel for the Leicester fans, the Leicester women's fans on that one, because, again, that's a bit of a stupid decision.
Yeah.
But there we go.
I mean, I don't know. It'd been a tough vote, I think. Olivia McLaughlin, I think, would have won flying colours. Another change then for Leicester, and it is not Naomi Mouchon.
So Naomi Mouchon will not feature in this game. We know that now.
Well, they've got 6, and have they made 5 already?
Oh, sorry, they've only made 4. Yeah. I thought they made all their subs in extra. Okay, she could still feature. But by the way, that is Heather Payne entering the field of play.
I mean, Heather Payne before Naomi Mouchon.
And Janssen, who made way to change into the back line. Shaman says, O'Brien, we're back underway in this game for extra time. You could have given the best player of the season to O'Brien. I think McLaughlin would be mine for Leicester, but again, it's not a high bar. Though McLaughlin has had a good individual season. Leicester have not had a good season by any metric. Swaby. Across now. Ale. Swaby again. And now Ross. Kenny into Bradley. Charlton come down the right hand side. Fitzgerald tries to play it forwards. It's cut out. And that's out for Charlton throwing. Shamil says, who do you think will move on if Leicester get relegated? I think McLaughlin would find a move.
Yeah.
I think O'Brien would probably be West Ham's Martinez replacement.
That is written in the start, I think.
Either that or Beth England would be their Martinez replacement.
Yeah, straight swap.
Considering
really.
She's in London,
yeah,
that could be an option. But yeah, I think those two. Demeter Ale, possibly, maybe Leipzig. I think every side's kind of settled on the goalkeeper now, apart from London City, who are signing Mary Earps. Swaby now to Payne. Back to Swaby. And now T-Bow. Into McLaughlin. Who finds Van Egmond. Van Egmond trying to force the pass forwards. Cut out well. And Heather Payne comes in and just gives it back to Charlton. Ross. Plays it into Bradley. And now Ellie Mason. Lovely drop of the shoulder there to deceive Sarah Mayling. Plays it wide to Katie Lockwood. Lockwood pokes it inside. Lifts over the top looking for Mason. Who's going to get there and lifts it in towards the goal and almost Almost a great goal there from Ellie Mason. Swung it in. Katie Keane was caught out, but bounces just wide.
Yeah, a bit of a cross, and it turned into something magical. Keane was completely wrong-footed, but I tell you what, that was a lot closer to dropping in than I originally thought it was. And Keane was nowhere near it. Oh, I tell you what, that was very close. I mean, that is the kind of way we're going to get an opening goal at this rate.
Yeah. Indeed. Phil says, I think Swaby, Lehman will leave, McLaughlin, Kane, and O'Brien maybe. Yeah, I don't think either. I don't think Lehman will be in the WSL though. I don't see any club that would want to sign her, but she could get a move. Swaby potentially to Palace, so then they've got both the Swabys.
Yeah.
That might keep them up. McLaughlin and O'Brien, yeah. Kane, I don't see any club that signs Kane and stays in the division, but O'Brien takes aim, and that is thwarted by Sophie Whitehouse.
Yeah, snatched it again, O'Brien. And Leicester's problems in front of goal really shone through in this game.
Yeah. Ball sent forwards. Touchdown well by Lockwood. Here come Charlton. Lockwood trying to drive that ball forwards. Shamanda says, do you think West Ham will pay Beth England's big contract? I think Beth is more ambitious than West Ham. I agree. I don't really know where Beth England goes. If she wants to stay in London, that's her only option. I don't see London City signing her. It's too good a transfer for them. They like to sign anyone but a striker. I think Brighton would be great. And we get to see Beth England and Frank Kirby again. So who isn't for that?
Yeah.
And Liverpool maybe, if they wanted someone that wasn't Martha Thomas as another option. Ball sent forwards. Here comes Charlton. Humphrey. Can she find the forward pass as well there to get past Swaby? McLaughlin gets back in there, makes a challenge, and Leicester able to recover possession. And now they'll play to the right-hand side. Mailing into Van Egmond. Ball played through the lines, and O'Brien tries to take on Mason. All dealt with, though, by Mason, who then knocks it out of play for a Leicester throw-in.
Yeah, good defending. Has opened up a little bit, which is encouraging, because it feels like we're more likely to get a goal that way. But, yeah, still neither side managing to test the goalkeepers too much.
Ball lifted in, and over the goal from O'Brien. That's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, another wild. I mean, it was a cross, I think, maybe. I really don't know. Just a wild attempt again. Yeah, just not a very good delivery. I think that's something that's definitely lacked for Leicester today is quality of final ball and quality of delivery.
Yeah. That's putting it nicely. I think they've been fairly poor in attacking areas. Both sides have been, though. And I think it's kind of the problem that you'd see with either side being in the WSL next season. It's the problem we saw with Charlton all season long. They've scored the least goals of any champion WSL 2 side in the top half. I mean, 31 goals. It's 15 less, I believe, than Birmingham City. So they've been really good defensively, and that could be really important if they were to come up.
Yeah.
Because I think Leicester's issues this season is that they've been so weak defensively, but with no attacking threat, much like Leicester, they could well be in a similar situation.
I mean, at this rate, I'd be surprised if either side would score any penalties. If we get there.
All try and pass them into the goal.
Yeah.
Great interception there from Lobato, carrying the ball forwards. An option to the left-hand side, overhits it. Lockwood's going to get there, though. And Lobato's gone up front. But at least there is someone getting forward for Charlton. Lockwood takes aim. Oh! What shot, Lobato! Heads time! Is she onside? No, she isn't. Oh, what an opportunity. Katie Lockwood, with one hell of a strike, hits the crossbar. It bounces down. Lobato tries to turn it home. But I think she's just offside there. My word, Katie Lockwood went for one hell of a goal.
So tight. It is so tight.
Yeah.
half an inch has just saved Leicester City. Brilliant from Lockwood, as you say. She just keeps running. No one steps onto her, and she has a go. Hits it so well. Beats Keane, but off the underside of the bar and tapped in, but offside.
Yeah, that was a great opportunity. Katie Lockwood, what a hit. Deserved a goal for that one. Just off the bar, and then, yeah, Lucia Lobato just gone a little bit too early there. But Charlton had the ball in the back of the net. Does that give them the confidence, or will it give Leicester a bit of a kick up the backside? Well, they're coming forwards now. Payne flipping it in towards the penalty area and out for a goal kick.
I don't think Leicester have completed a single cross today. I really don't. Their crossing numbers must be so poor.
32% on crosses.
That seems bad.
7 accurate crosses, 32%. Charlton's, though, 18% on crosses.
Oh.
So neither side's been particularly accurate with their crosses.
Oh, that lot. Just the goal camera. That Lockwood effort just looks like it was sailing in.
It looks like a great opportunity. The Charlton fans celebrate and then realise Lobato's gone too early. The Charlton bench were buzzing. They thought Lockwood had scored. Leicester City throwing. And yeah, that would have been one hell of a way to get promoted. Thank you, Lockwood. Shamadil says, what have you made of the atmosphere? Well, we watch on mute, so no idea. Williams drops in to receive.
Looks good crowd. It's a good crowd, though.
Yeah. It could be the loudest crowd I've ever seen. It could be the quietest, but it does at least look vibrant. Payne across to Swaby. And now T-Bow. Williams goes back to T-Bow. And now Swaby. Great reception from Van Egmond, knocking out to the right-hand side. Here's Mailing, who tries to find the cross, but it is dealt with by Whitehouse. Sharon was asked, will you be doing Wild 7's coverage? Still not sure, to be honest. We're waiting to see, because we didn't think this game was going to be on YouTube, which is why we covered it. But then it was, and obviously that does impact our viewership. So we'll wait and see for that. It's also one of those where the heat at the moment is making it very difficult to be in the studio for long periods. So the idea of doing a 6-hour live stream doesn't sound incredible, given this heat wave is supposed to continue all week. So we'll see. If there's lots of demand for it and it's not going to be on YouTube, then yeah, we'll probably do it. But if there's not too much interest from our audience and it's going to be on YouTube, then we're unlikely to do it. But yeah, we'll wait and see. We'll announce something later in the week if we are doing it, if we're not doing it. But yeah, obviously Leicester City will be in that, bizarrely.
Difficult for the players. Imagine they lose today.
Yeah.
And they've got to go play a nice little tournament.
On back well by Neville. And now Leicester looking to come forwards. And Laura asks, is a promotion relegation playoff going to be a regular feature? I believe so.
Yeah.
It'll be 3rd place in the WSL 2 next season against 12th place in the WSL. Obviously, 13th and 14th then will be automatic relegation spots. And then 1st and 2nd automatic promotion spots in the WSL 2. Ryan says, looks like it's on Sky in the UK and DAZN outside the UK. Yeah, but this game was showing similarly as on Sky Sports, so we didn't think it'd be on YouTube. But we'll wait and see on the day. Leicester coming forwards. Here's Van Egmond. Cleared away well by Lockwood. Lachlan takes aim. It's charged down well. Here's Van Egmond. Payne. Mailing into Keys. Bryan won't quite get there. It's cleared away a bit haphazardly by Charlton. And Lockwood knocking it out of play for a Leicester throw.
Yeah. Doing the business. 3 minutes till the break. It's a short break, but it's a break that I'm sure all 22 players will welcome. Leicester again taking the opportunity to slow the game down here, and also allowing Swaby to have the long throw. And they just get someone to flick this in the right direction towards goal and potentially get something out of it.
Ball flicked on, chance for Leicester. Shot goalwards, it's blocked. And out for a Leicester City corner.
That deflection could have gone anywhere.
It's a great long throw from Swaby.
Yeah, that's the one thing that Rach Williams does give you. His aerial threat. She does want to flick it on towards Kane, who sends it goalwards.
O'Brien, yeah, just blocked well by Lovato.
Yeah, it does well. Better. I'd have snatched at a couple today, O'Brien. Did want to just keep that one down. And, well, was heading on target.
Yeah, both sides now just really tiring. Ball in. Neville heads towards goal. It's nodded away. Swaby trying to keep it alive. It's out for another corner. Leicester really putting the pressure on now.
Yeah, again, T-Bow reworks it, and Leicester pushing to find the opener as we get towards the end of the first part of additional time.
Extra time period has been a bit of a slog. Can Leicester City break the deadlock with this set piece? Tierney over the corner, and again, we'll take her time about adjusting this. Now Neeslip not happy. With some fighting in there, and she's going to pull out T-Bow and Lockwood. Still out pushing and pulling.
Yeah, still a major problem. And they should talk to them, and they go right back to pushing each other.
Tierney delivers it in. Whitehouse punches it away. Neville fires on target. Brilliant save from Sophie Whitehouse, who dived in there to a crowd of players. Made a save.
I really like his goalkeeping. Just barges into the back of her own centre half to make sure she gets the ball first.
I think a centre half loves that goalkeeping, but
I know, well, no, to be fair, it was more of a bundle at the front post, but just does well. Whitehouse to come away get away from the bodies and get a good fist on it. And then, yeah, makes the second save despite the free kick being given anyway.
yeah. Now, Shamil says, I know you guys are primarily a women's football channel, but we do any men's World Cup? No, we're going to enjoy a summer off for the first time. We obviously used to cover the men's game on another channel. We've covered the women's game now for 2 years. We've not had a summer off since 2019. That is the half-time whistle of this extra time period. 15 more minutes to go for both sets of players. Before then, we'll take a break. But yeah, looking forward to 2 months without having to sit in a boiling hot studio every day.
Although, frustratingly, I think the Men's World Cup timings are quite lovely because they're in the night.
True.
But yeah, it has been a very warm 105 minutes and we still haven't got a goal in this football game. There's only a maximum of 15 minutes
that
long.
Lockwood goal didn't go in.
It's incredible. Inches away from the top flight with Charlton Athletic. But they're going to be made to wait at least another 15 minutes. They've really enjoyed this crowd camera, haven't they?
Yeah, I like it. I guess it's because you've got all of the crowd in one end. You can do it. I don't know. I've never seen it done on a football broadcast before. No. But yeah.
So I don't know what to say. Like, usually, as I said at the start of extra time, I think about individuals can step up. I just don't see anyone at the moment who's going to step up and deliver for either of these two sides. I think this is destined for penalties. Someone said it, but while we were still in while we were still in normal time, someone said that this game is destined for penalties, and I think that's exactly where it's going. Neither side have got enough just to find a way to go.
Yeah. So let's enjoy your summer after the international break. We will do. We'll still have live streams and stuff. We'll still be doing content constantly about the transfers and everything that happens over the summer. But yeah, we will have the international break, of course, the week after the FA Cup final.
There's so much action to come. Brilliant. Still, well, only 15 minutes left of this. If I think we're going to spot kicks, I don't see us getting a goal here.
Do you not?
No.
Yeah, I don't know who scores it, is the problem.
No. Why hasn't Noemi Mouchon come on for Leicester? I do not understand it.
Yeah.
I'm sure she can take a penalty. If that's the reason why.
Camera's had enough. Still got audio though, so we'll enjoy the last 20 minutes here. Last 15 minutes here of extra time. The camera has given up on us with the heat. Yeah, it says internal temp high, allow it to cool. So we may have an auto only 15 minutes at the end of this game. And if that doesn't tell you how hot it is in this studio, I don't know what does. But Charlton will get us back underway in this game. Waiting here for Heaslip's whistle. Nigel says, even the camera's suffering from the heat because this camera's too hot now to get some ice pops. Yeah, it is ridiculously hot in this studio. We've never had that happen before. It's been very warm in here before, but never had the camera give up on us. Back underway in this second half of extra time then, and we don't quite have a timer yet either, but we'll make do. Harry will fix that once he's back. Van Egmond. Watch forwards by Esmita Ale. And Van Egmond brings it down. Chibao. Plays the pass across to Swaby. And now Payne. Flicked forwards by Williams. Here come Leicester City. And Mailing lifts it into the box. Blocked though at the front post. And that's out for a Leicester corner. And that will allow them to keep the pressure on here, Leicester City, who do look closer to getting a goal than Charlton do. So, Tierney, the player over this. Can they find a route to goal? Taken short into McLaughlin. McLaughlin back to Tierney, who tries to create space for the cross. Plays it forwards now to Payne, and it's cleared away. And out for another Leicester City corner. A bit of a mess there. I think Leicester thought they were going to get a free kick. Got given the advantage. And yeah, McLaughlin. Tierney just trying to create too much space there for the cross. And well dealt with. Out for another corner. Oh, they go short again. Ball delivered to the edge of the box. Payne takes aim. What a hit, but what a save from Whitehouse. Scampers across her goal line brilliantly. And just pushes that one away. Great stop from Whitehouse. And Payne here, almost the hero at the death. What an effort. What a save from Whitehouse. Corner from the other side now for Leicester. Tierney over this one. So, Heaslip. Not happy with that initially. Does let her take it though. Corner into the box is cleared away. And we do have a camera, albeit we've got to a very different angle to what we normally have. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Women's Football Chat. We've got a solution for now, but we are on a diagonal, so that will have to work as we see out this game. There we go. That's still a bit all over the place. Foul there from Heather Payne. And so that will be a free kick now for Charlton as they look just to get this ball up the pitch. Ellie Mason's long throw. Yeah, Heather Payne just catching the player. And we do have a timer returning as well. Charlton with this free kick. Ball lifted into the area, bounces around. Cleared away well. And it bounces through and a chance now. Lockwood miskicks it. Can she create a chance? Tries to fashion the pass there. And it's dealt with well by Leicester City. And Lockwood will be kicking herself that she didn't make contact with that opportunity. Are we going to see Harry spontaneously combust? Very possibly. How are we looking?
Funny.
That's true, yeah. We are looking funny. Hopefully. And we'll put the camera in the freezer and be ready to go for the Champions League final. Perfect time for a heatwave in the UK. Lockwood coming down the left-hand side. Tries to poke it forwards. Twaby will come across and deal with it. Sees how to play well.
Still haven't got a goal. Through all of that, still not got a goal in this game.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's just been one of those. Oh my days. Noe Mouchon is 110 minutes into the game.
Thank you, Rick Passmore. At long last, Noemi Mouchon is coming on. Mailing makes way. Mouchon on to make the difference. What can she do at the end of this game? Laura says did not consent for a heatwave this early. No, we'd rather have it in June, July when we can go to a beer garden and enjoy it rather than sitting here roasting to death.
While the camera blows up because it's too hot.
Also fair play, lads. MacGyvered this stream setup. Yeah, we've made it work. This is a very bodged together stream setup. It's almost as bad as the Champions League stream where we didn't have any internet access.
Yeah.
The only thing that connects to the internet was the laptop, so I had to watch it on the laptop, which was on the desk.
Brilliant.
During a Champions League game.
But we've got 9 minutes of one of the biggest games of the season left.
We do indeed. Hopefully, we'll be all right for the Champions League final. Tierney over this corner then. These have been Leicester's best chances from these set pieces. Tierney floating it in. Headed towards goal by Neville. Headed wide though by Ash Neville. That will be a goal kick for Charlton.
Yeah, just doesn't have enough contact with it. I mean, and unless I missed any big chances, I wouldn't...
You did? Oh, Payne had a fantastic effort that was saved by Whitehouse.
At least it's a shot on target. But I say, whoever called penalties in about the 60th minute, fair play to them.
Or even better, people who said it would go to penalties before kick-off. I can't scroll that far back, unfortunately. It's been too long.
Someone did predict penalties.
Yeah.
But I think they also predicted some goals.
Gillian Kenny in offside position there. And Leicester City, with this deep free kick, will look to launch it forwards. Well, at least we can add cameras blown up on stream to the list of accomplishments this season. Leicester On the ball, here's McLaughlin. Blocked away well. Swaby. Here's Payne. Floats it into the area. Williams can't quite get it under her control. Swaby. Here's Tierney. Van Egmond. Wide into Payne. Into Mouchon. Does really well to get that under her control. It's fizzed at her. By Heather Payne. And Mouchon is going to get around the opposition and does well. Puts the ball in the box. Calling out for Leicester.
It's like magic. Looks like the best player on the pitch. No, Mouchon. I mean, it helps that she's come on, she's fresh. But a sharp turn, fires it across goal and wins Leicester City a corner. And also provides an aerial threat. So there's so many positives to Mouchon now. Mouchon being on the pitch. It's like if they'd done that 40 minutes ago, they might not have gone to extra time.
Tierney plays it to the edge of the box. McLaughlin. Tierney. McLaughlin tries to put it in the box. It's blocked. Now Payne. Brilliant work there from Fitzgerald, who's pulled back. That'll be a yellow card for Heather Payne. The free kick for Charlton.
Yeah. Really good running. And it was a little pull. And Payne will be frustrated because Neville managed to get round the other side and win the ball back anyway. Yeah, definite pull back there.
Now, Brandon Mortimer of the stream says, with some of the saves Whitehouse has made, would you have Charlton as favourites if this goes to penalties? Yeah, I think for Leicester, if you had a Janina Leitzig in there, I mean, Kate King's done a good job since she's come in, but she's very inexperienced, and you do just feel that could be to their detriment.
Yeah.
Ball not to the left-hand side, too much on that. And well, Humphrey will make her best attempt to get into the ball. She won't quite get there. 5 minutes left in this game then.
They're feeling it, I think, on the Charlton bench because they will, not, I don't think they'll be thinking that right now, but on reflecting, no matter what happens today, they know they should have gone up automatically. So the fact that they are 115 minutes into a relegation playoff was such an avoidable situation. I think both sides are feeling the pressure.
That's Neville carrying it forwards. Knocked wide now with O'Brien. Here's the cut inside against Fitzgerald. Now Van Egmond. Here's Tierney. Takes aim. Lashing over the bar. Great opportunity. And Tierney just couldn't get over the ball. Got under it. And launched it over.
Yeah, she's had a couple now, Sam Tierney, in this game that I think she's just lashed at. This one was better. Bit more control behind it. But, yeah, just too much lift. Leaning back. Trying to go for glory in front of the top corner. Rick Parson wasn't even watching. But, yeah, just couldn't keep it down. Another chance comes and goes for Leicester. They'll be the most frustrated if this goes to penalties because they've had the better chances to win the game. Charlton, I think, will admit that they haven't had enough, they haven't done enough in front of goal.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think they've done enough in the final third. Ball launched forwards. That's something for Charlton to believe in. They're struck battling away now with Humphrey. Wide looking for Fitzgerald. Never wins it back. And she's brought down. And that'll be a Leicester free kick.
Yeah, Leicester frustrated there because Heathcliff gave the free kick, but they had the ball. The pass from Neville did end up reaching the feet of O'Brien. Yellow card anyway for Fitzgerald. They've been racking up through the extra time period. I have to say, only two and a bit minutes to go. It's now or never, really, for both these teams.
Mouchon sends it down the line. Van Egmond trying to get there. Seen how to play well, though. And that it will be a goal kick for Charlton. I think they're just trying to get the penalties now.
Yeah. Seeing it through, run the clock down. It's good defending from Ross. And now Whitehouse will take as long as she possibly can to take this goal kick.
The guy in the superhero costume does look a bit like Rick Passmore.
Yeah. He is sat still. I think someone should check on him.
Make sure he's all right. Williams into O'Brien. Now Van Egmond. Neville. Flips it forwards and Whitehouse with the claim. Now wants to go long again, Charlton. Launched up the pitch and it'll bounce all the way through. And yeah, Charlton just they aren't going for this game at all, are they?
No.
Out towards the right hand side. Payne chops in. Swaby. Into Van Egmond. Now Tierney. McLaughlin. Darting inside well, Payne. Humphries does well to win it back. And now Swaby. Ball into the area, Whitehouse as well. Off the line quickly to come and claim. And now Payne. Oh, McLaughlin, sorry, does look to be down in some pain. We'll get back to her feet though. And just try and see out the last minute. Balls now to Van Egmond. Wide to Mouchon. Pokes it towards McLaughlin, who just can't run. And out now for Leicester. Throwing a minute is all we've got of additional time. 60 more seconds before we have penalties. McLaughlin's down. I think she's absolutely done.
Yeah, put an absolute shift today, McLaughlin. I think she'll be frustrated. You felt like she could have been one of the players to make the difference, but just hasn't materialised.
No.
And it looks like it's going to end up being either one of the goalkeepers to become the hero. Incredible. After 121 minutes, still can't split the two sides.
Ball in towards the box. Cleared away well. And now it's with Tierney. Taken short into Tierney. Tierney lifts it into the area. And that will bounce right the way through. That was a great chance for Leicester. Williams went for it. Neither of them could get to it. You think that's it?
Yeah, Williams threw herself at it. Just couldn't get near it. Too much on it from Tierney in the end.
You can't knock her work rate, can you?
Oh,
Rachel Williams was charging around the penalty area, trying to make something happen. And Charlton in no rush as they'll just try and see out this game. I think we're off the penalties.
Yeah.
Whitehouse taking her time about this goal kick. Launches it long. And we are going to penalties in the WSL playoff final. Charlton 0, Leicester City 0 after 45, after 90, after 105, and now after 120 minutes of football. Still, the deadlock remains intact. And the BBC doesn't think anyone could possibly be watching this for so long. And decided that we turn itself off.
Everything's given in. I think both sides have. I mean, you'd expect them to be pretty close. Yeah, it's a relegation playoff. They're both fighting for the same spot in the WSL next season. You know it's be close, but it's been pretty poor for for large parts of this game from both sides at times. And yeah, 0-0 after 121 minutes, I think sums up Leicester City's season. And I think Charlton will be very frustrated they haven't managed to do more going forwards.
Yeah, as Phil said, actually, we couldn't get a winner because this is a horrible way to either go down or stay down now, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculously heartbreaking way, especially if Charlton are the ones who end up losing out. You know, already heartbreak on the final day at home, and yet to think the repercussions that one penalty shootout is going to have, it's horrible. It's a horrible way to lose any football game. But yeah, especially when it dictates which how the whole of your next season is going to go. It's a very difficult one to take for the loser. For the winner, it feels more like relief than it does any like celebration.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be tough to. I mean, there's tired legs going up to take penalties.
Yeah. Goalkeepers, they'll try and predict. They'll study the maps. Players,
it's a shame it's not going in front of any fans.
Yeah.
Just spin the goal round, do it.
Or get everyone to run round. But yeah, this is a massive, massive penalty shootout. And I think that it's very interesting. Whitehouse, very good season. Katie Keane has only come into the fold for Leicester and is now going to be called upon to kind of save their season, which is a very high pressure scenario for the youngster to be in. But if she can come up with some big saves, she might just keep Leicester City in the WSL.
Yeah, Brandon, I think it's spot on. Says not sound all doom and gloom, but with how Leicester are as a club, relegation could be a disaster. We might not see them in the WSL again for some time. It could be. I mean, it's not an outrageous statement to say it could be the end of Leicester City women. They have no money to work with as a club, and if they are to get relegated, it's just going to make it even more difficult, I guess. Though equally, staying in the WSL, how are they going to have any investment there?
They're damned if they do. They're damned if they don't.
Yeah. Tough situation for Leicester as a club. I really feel for their fans on that front.
But right now, they've got to focus on the task at hand. And if they do win the penalty shootout, just enjoy that moment.
Yeah.
Forget about the repercussions. Just get the job done. Go out and get the job done. It's a strong away support. But at the end of the day, penalties are a lottery. Penalties are potluck. All comes down to one single moment. And let's see which team have got it.
Indeed.
I do not envy anyone who steps up to take a penalty in this game.
No.
Horrible situation to be in. But let's see what happens. I'm intrigued to see who does go. I think Leicester, again, this is where experience can come in. You know, I'm looking for Leicester. You know, you're looking at the likes of Rachel Williams, who can confidently step up and put it away. But Charlton, they've got some very experienced players in there. They've got to take it on their shoulders and not allow that pressure to get the better of them.
I do like the idea, by the way, not to distract from the situation, that anyone clicks on this stream, because it's gone to penalties, they click on this stream, it's the first time they've watched us, and our camera's completely on the side. Yeah. But welcome. If this is your first stream, welcome to the community. We do usually look a little better than this. But penalties it is. Charlton versus Leicester City for a spot in the WSL next season. We're going to a penalty shootout. We're in a penalty shootout.
I hate it. I really do hate it. But yeah, that's the way of a relegation playoff.
There's a massive difference as well in how both goalkeepers look, their demeanour going into this. Katie Keane was kind of alone, kept herself to herself, just getting in the zone. Whitehouse is a lot more. She's chatty. She's being a bit vibrant, talking to players. Just very different. Both approaches can be spot on. But
I think there's
whatever works for you as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, exactly that. I think goalkeepers you can go both ways. As a player, as a player you can technically go both ways, but as a player you'd expect to see the calm and just the controlled nature.
Yeah. It just depends what kind of person you are. If you're the kind of person that
exactly
by taking your mind off it and just like having a chat and distracting yourself works, then that works, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. Do you know what? I kind of hope Leicester do it for the bloke who's had to wear that superhero costume.
Just good. I'm just glad we're seeing him stand up again.
Yeah, he's alive. He was thinking, I'll do this as a funny gig. We'll win it in 90 minutes and go home. 120 minutes later, he's still stood there.
Like 27-degree heat.
Fair play to the lad. Massive moments for both these two sides. Charlton trying to reach the promised land. Leicester hoping to stay there for a while, at least one more season. Even if next season I think they would struggle. They want to have one more year in the top flight.
Yeah, indeed.
Very interesting that Sophie Whitehouse is taking her whole bag over to the penalty shootout. Don't usually see that either. But different practices.
Easier than carrying all the stuff, I guess.
True, that is true.
Is Katie King's arm to be a little bit more tired?
Maybe. I don't think we're going to have any ball girls or ball boys stealing sheets of paper or anything like that.
No.
Hopefully we'll be alright.
I was waiting for them to reverse the result 3 months after the after the trophy lift. They could still do that. They could decide that actually Lucia Lebetta's goal should have stood. But no one's been down the tunnel, so there won't be a disqualification. Penalties then. It is Leicester City to step up first, and it's Emily Van Egmond from 12 yards. Up against Whitehouse, who's making herself big and making herself loud. Will it work? Will it put off the experienced Aussie? Van Egmond steps up, one save! Whitehouse down to her right, pounces on the penalty and denies it brilliantly. And the antics are working.
Huge stop from Whitehouse early doors in the shootout. Does well to keep a foot on the line as well. Gets down. It's a good penalty, to be fair, from Van Egmond right in the corner. That is a brilliant stop from Whitehouse and a perfect start to the shootout for Charlton.
I was a little confused on what was going on there with Van Egmond.
Thought they would let her retake it, but no, nothing wrong with it. But Charlton is now about solidifying that start.
Exactly. It gives them a great opportunity. Bradley stepping up with Charlton's first penalty. There's a huge difference in demeanour of Whitehouse and Keane. Bradley steps up. A big save! Neither of the first two penalties are scored. Keane down to our left, denies Bradley. We're back level.
We're never going to see a goal in this game.
No.
Yeah, again, it's not quite in the corner from Bradley, but it's not a bad penalty. Keane does well, guesses the right way, and pulls off a massive save. And as you say, one penalty taken each and still 0-0.
And so now it's Shannon O'Brien for Leicester City. A little jig to the left. Heaslip having a chat with Whitehouse.
Probably about the antics.
I mean, you can't really stop the goalkeeper from jumping up and down and shouting. There's nothing wrong with that, is there? Whitehouse making herself big, making herself loud. O'Brien from 12 yards. Whitehouse saves again. Another missed penalty in this shootout. 3 penalties so far. None in the back of the net.
This is incredible. We are genuinely never going to see a goal in this game. Again, it's another decent penalty from O'Brien. Probably should put a bit more behind it, but Whitehouse gets across her goal brilliantly.
You just put the ball in the goal and you're going to win this shootout.
This is incredible. I've never seen a game like it.
Emily Thestrup.
Well,
an experienced head stepping up for Charlton.
This is a player who's been in these kind of situations before. Should have the experience to find a way past Keane. Are we going to see the net bulge in this game?
Thestrup from 12 yards. A deep breath. Now it's the bottom corner for Emily Thestrup. First penalty scored in this shootout, Charlton. Getting one on the board. Charlton 1, Leicester 0 on penalties.
Yeah, good penalty from Thestrup. Katie Keane, to be fair, goes the right way. But again, we're talking about perfect penalties. Thestrup puts it right in the bottom corner into the side netting. Doesn't give Keane a chance. Exactly what was needed in this game. Charlton lead the shootout.
Karen Hills cannot bear to watch. It is Olivia McLaughlin, who went down with cramp at the end of extra time. Can she step up and level the shootout for now?
Rick Passmore is pacing on that Leicester City touchline.
Indeed. And Whitehouse
is going to get booked here.
is going to be in trouble. She's reading the penalty.
Oh, she's just going to...
Heathcliff's going to book her. That is unbelievable.
Talk about antics to the extreme. Yeah, you can't do that.
Whitehouse jogs off. And then she has picked up a yellow card. She's going to have to watch it now because what if you just get sent off? McLaughlin, well, has that put her off? Steps up and makes no mistake into the top corner. And well, she can try everything she wants, Sophie Whitehouse, but couldn't put Olivia McLaughlin off there.
Yeah, great penalty from McLaughlin. Finds the top corner and... Yeah, Whitehouse going to have to be careful now on that yellow card. You can't delay as much as she has. You can't run around and take your time about things.
Fitzgerald, with the next one, looks a little nervy, I have to say, as she steps up. Whitehouse going to grab her bottle. She can have a look a little earlier this time.
Just needs to calm down, Whitehouse. I feel like...
Does she?
Yeah.
This might win them the shootout.
But if she gets herself sent off, then in big trouble.
Fitzgerald from 12 yards. Steps up and it's saved. What a stop from Keane. Gets across a confident nod of the head from Keane afterwards. And we're level again.
That is a brilliant save.
Wow.
It's a bit of an awkward height for her. But Keane does brilliantly to level up the shootout. 3 apiece, 1-1. Brilliant from Keane. Both goalkeepers putting on a great show.
Have a pain now for Leicester City to step up. Can Whitehouse deny her? 4 penalties missed from 6 taken. And make wow. 7 because of what a stop from Whitehouse.
Wow.
Gets down to it, tips it round the post.
That's the best save of the lot.
Incredible from Whitehouse.
Usually we say to players, put it in the bottom corner and you don't give the keeper a chance. And that is a brilliant save from Whitehouse. Gets the left hand down to it and tips it round the post.
Incredible.
Third penalty save.
Whitehouse.
These aren't just misses. 5 saves. The goalkeeper union is going mental at the moment.
Ellie Mason now for Charlton Athletic. Where will she place this?
This is nervy. I think it's worse as a player when there's been more misses than scores. You feel more responsibility to find the back of the net.
When she scores, they need one more save to do it. Ellie Mason steps up, buries it.
Really good.
And Charlton take the lead in this shootout. 2-1 Charlton. They are a missed penalty away, or a scored penalty away after that, from being in the WSL next season.
Brilliant from Mason. Cool, calm, composed. Whistle goes, steps up, sends Keane the wrong way. And as you say, Charlton back in front and all the pressure now onto Leicester City's 5th taker, who has to score. And
well, it's Naomi Mouchon. We were crying out for Mouchon to be subbed on earlier. She did come on right at the end. Can she now keep Leicester alive in this shootout? Naomi Mouchon takes a deep breath. Whitehouse is bouncing. Mouchon steps up, it's saved again, and Charlton are going to the WSL next season. Sophie Whitehouse with 4 penalty saves in the shootout. That is ridiculous. What a way to get promoted. What a heartbreaking way for Leicester to be relegated. Charlton are going to the WSL. Leicester City relegated next season.
The cruel, cruel nature of the relegation playoff, but what a moment for Charlton. What a moment for Whitehouse. Brilliant season, comes into today, pulls off some great saves in normal time, and to save 4 penalties is ridiculously good. And Charlton have finally done it. They've gone the hard way about it, but they will be in the top flight next season. What a moment for Charlton.
I think I've ever seen anything like it. 4
Ridiculous.
penalty saves from Sophie Whitehouse. That is utterly absurd from Whitehouse. Incredible stuff.
Wow.
And absolutely deserved. Charlton Athletic, after what's a season, they were on top for so long, they slipped down in the last 2 months of the campaign, ended up in this playoff game. It was a grueling 120 minutes where they remained defensively solid. And then Sophie Whitehouse, the hero, and Charlton Athletic are back in the top flight of women's football.
Incredible. What a moment. And they will enjoy that. The fans and the players remember the heartbreak of the final day loss to Birmingham. That is all gone away now because of a brilliant, brilliant display in the shootout from Whitehouse. They held their own in the game. Leicester City just did not do enough, which feels like the story of their season. And it's a horrible, horrible moment.
Might want to get close to the Charlton fans who's going to celebrate like that.
But what a moment for Charlton. I think that the relief is pouring out after, screwing up a little bit at the end of the season. They have made up for it today with a brilliant, brilliant performance.
Absolutely incredible stuff from Charlton. Into the WSL next season. We've got 3 new WSL clubs next season then. Charlton Athletic join Crystal Palace and Birmingham City in the Women's Super League, a reformed 14-team WSL. Charlton Athletic will be there. Leicester City will not.
Wow. A horrible way to lose it. It's a horrible way to be relegated, but I think that, of course, people will speak about that, but at the end of the day, you have to talk about the season as a whole. Not been good enough for Leicester City. And
they simply haven't got a point in 2026.
Yeah, not good enough. And penalties is a whole way to lose it, but as the WSL side, they didn't do enough today to find a way past Whitehouse in normal time and in the shootout. They didn't do enough across the season. They had a brilliant start, and it all just fell out. And as you say, not a single point in 2026, and the board were just happy to sit there and let Rick Passmore continue to do exactly the same thing every week. Really poor. Of course, they've been let down by the higher ups, but I think on the pitch, it's also not been good enough.
No, it's always going to be difficult. Sacking Mikel a week before the start of the season, selling Ruby Mace in the summer without really a replacement. It was always going to be difficult. Leicester always the favourites to go down. We rightfully predicted. It was one of the only predictions you got right.
Yeah.
At the start of the season that they'd be in this position. And yeah, as horrible it is for Leicester City fans, I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's any sort of injustice. They've not been good enough this year.
Yeah.
And they will be in the WSL 2 next season. We are back in an hour and 15 minutes for the Women's Champions League final. I think we're gonna take some time to get the camera alive again. But hopefully everything will be good for the Champions League final. We move from a very intense playoff to the crown in women's football. The Champions League final will be live in a couple hours, less than that. An hour and 15 minutes for that. So make sure to join us for that game. In the meantime, Charlton Athletic promoted to the Women's Super League. What a game of football that was. A hard, grueling game between the two sides, but Charlton ultimately the side who deserved to go up and will be going up to the WSL. That was everything from us today. As I say, we'll be back in a little bit with the Champions League final. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you in a bit.